tonight on 8.5-bit. A game, another game, and a game.
Ooh, different.
Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 290 of 8.5-bit. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today are my good friends James.
Hello.
And Sam.
Hi.
And the games referenced in tonight's intro could be...
Anything.
Could be Darq.
This was... You get to pick.
Could be Oregon Trail. And could be...
Listener's choice.
Binding of Isaac Repentance. I couldn't remember what BOI was for a second.
Repentance.
I'm like, the game I put in 200 hours. I mean, not that much. It's still, I put in a lot for me, but still not 200 hours.
Did you put more into Binding of Isaac or Animal Crossing?
It would be hard to track because I played Binding of Isaac over multiple
Not what I
platforms.
realized. I have a lot of hours in Binding of Isaac, but I have more hours in Breath of the Wild.
Really?
Yeah. I've
How
played
much
Breath
did you...
of the Wild far too much.
Didn't you get
want
all
like
the
400
correct seeds?
I 100%ed it, yeah.
Yeah,
and
like
then I have
an
a
insane
master mode
person.
save.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't intend you to get all the correct seeds.
But I did it.
It was like,
It was
no,
like a search party.
yeah.
Like you cut the map up into grid cells and go nuts.
so much fun. What a fun way to live.
It was good times.
I still don't think I've caught up in Spanish hours to Destiny 2.
Really?
It's like that's still like my motivator.
You could keep it that way if you play Destiny 2 in Spanish.
Oh, I've tried that.
That's just as equal amount to both counts.
Yeah, but as long as Destiny 2 is currently ahead, it'll just stay ahead.
So it doesn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah.
But the problem with that plan is I don't want to play Destiny 2.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm with
Which
you.
is a rare sentence to have ever come out of your...
Oh, no, it's well and truly burned itself out on me.
For now.
Till Destiny
Still the
3.
next cool thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It can't get me. It's like it lost me on the initial release of Destiny, and I can't ever forgive it.
Well, I think I've now played, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons or whatever many they've had out, and I haven't liked a single one of them.
But you did it anyway.
Yeah, but I finally, though, like, I've broken free of that abusive relationship.
I like learning about. So you can correct me because I'm obviously not a Destiny player. Trials of Osiris.
Oh, that thing which keeps coming and going.
So it's a competitive mode
Yeah.
where you actually get rewards and it comes and goes and they change stuff. But the way that people game the system, which at the moment involves wearing various hats, because you wear a certain hat to indicate whether you're going to throw the match or not.
Oh,
Wow.
And like if both teams like wearing the hat, they acknowledge, and it's like, well, you get to have this round, and then because I think you can change characters after it started or something. So it's like
they shouldn't try and fix that. Like,
That's a fun
It's
community
fun,
thing.
yeah, just let them do it.
It's kind of. I mean, I guess it's
Trading wins.
It hurts people that want to
Legitimately play.
It doesn't hurt people that want to win because if they join up and the other person's not
Yeah.
taking up, they just leave and the piece will get a win anyway. But if you actually want to have some good rounds, it probably hurts that. Anyway, I'm not a Destiny person. So this is... I actually have a lot of games to talk about, ones that have fallen off from the last few weeks. In fact, I should probably go back and see some of the ones I haven't written down because we've had more games than we've had time for.
Catching up.
And a bit of news and everything, but there's just no real specific standout of today, I would say. There's no big AAA that's dropped or anything.
We're in the quiet time.
Yeah, which admittedly is a lot. So I'm going to just say, this is how much... I still have a bunch of games I'm playing. A bunch of stuff, like, for review, for fun, whatever. And yet still, whilst on holiday up the coast, sitting there in the middle of the night, I'm like, Red Faction Guerrilla's on sale. And let's not make this the Red Faction Guerrilla show, but you know what game is still very fun?
Oh, is it Red Faction Guerrilla?
Yeah, I forgot how good the physics
Yeah.
is. Because it's not just knocking down the walls. When things fall down, they do fall down and cause a cascade of destruction.
Yes, it's like, for the time, that technology was very cool.
It's pretty good. It runs really good on the Switch.
Oh,
It's like...
That was PS2 era?
No. Oh, guess wait.
Or PS3
No,
era?
PS3 because it's three. It was a 360 game.
Okay, PS3 era.
I had to remember which way they lined up. But probably the thing that I turn it on easy, which is good for 2 reasons. One, just with the normal Switch controls, the Joy-Cons, third-person aiming isn't always the best, especially since enemies are often a way away. But also, you don't want them a way away because you want to attack everyone with a hammer. And that's much easier when the game's just set on easy. So, I do have a gun, but have you tried a hammer? It's endlessly satisfying. If you never played it, it's a game on Mars where all the buildings are fully destructible.
And I'm guessing you got it pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think I paid $5 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of games I picked up on the Switch now that, for $2 that I haven't even loaded them up. It's like $2. I'll grab that. Like,
What a steal.
Bought decks. I'll load up
Switch
decks
libraries
eventually.
Oh
look
yeah,
like a
Dex.
Steam
Yeah,
one,
I think
yeah.
I have Dex on multiple
Well-
multiple platforms, and I still have yet to play it.
I think I pledged to the Kickstarter.
You think?
I think. Well, I pledged to a lot of things.
Go and check.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I did,
list
actually.
welcome to the middle class show. I thought I bought something, but I don't know. I bought it again,
we
and I
just-
haven't played it.
Money leaves the account, and we just collect keys, and occasionally we'll load something up.
This humble month isn't very good. Ah, well, I won't skip it. I'll just claim it anyway.
I've been revisiting the 3DS the last.
Oh yes,
last
well it has
week or
been.
two.
Okay, if there's any theme to this episode, it's revisiting old handhelds.
Yes, it does seem to be what's going on. I actually downgraded my 3DS back to the non-XL version.
I hated the XL.
Well, I didn't mind it, but I really... The big sticking point I've got with it is the screen is too big for the resolution.
Yes.
And it just ends up looking a bit crap.
There's a lot of games that don't look great.
Yeah. So going back to the smaller one, everything's just... Meh,
Are you
it's
using
nice.
Are you using just a standard 3DS or a new 3DS?
New 3DS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the new 3DS, the non-XL. That's my. It's a very nice form factor.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't like that many 3DS games, I still play DS
Yeah.
games, and there's a lot of good DS
Yes.
games.
And the secret to making it have the battery life that we know and love from the Nintendo DS is just disable Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah,
turn
yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
it.
If you turn that off, that thing will sleep for a very long time.
I remember I got my DS out one time and I hadn't touched it for over a year, and I just opened it up and
And
it
turned on.
was running, and it was
Yeah.
like at like 98% battery.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Turn off Wi-Fi and turn off Street Pass.
Yep,
Good to
and
go.
you're fine.
Yeah.
So I've been revisiting a few things. I've gone back to... been trying to decide what Pokemon to go back to. Because I have a few options for Pokemon. Because I also have like Pokemon Sword that I haven't played much. But Sword thematically never really clicked with me. I don't care that much about playing in England. Like it's not like a fantasy
fair, I
of me
guess.
of me to go to England. But Pokemon Sun, Tropical Island.
Yeah, but you spend half the time watching shitty cutscenes and
That's true. That is true. Like
being dragged around, teleported everywhere.
I deleted my save game to start again because I don't
Yes.
remember anything.
But how about Pokemon Ass?
Pokemon Ass.
You haven't seen these?
No.
They're like hacked ROMs you can
Yeah.
get.
Oh, really?
I love the hacked
I'm
ROMs.
not making this.
Oh,
as-
There is a
There's
bit
a lot.
of drama in that community at the moment, actually.
Oh yes.
'Cause-
Can we sidetrack to that?
Yeah, go for it.
So I can't remember the name of it, but one of the fan made Pokemon games it's considered to be one of the better ones.
Isn't
it's
it
got like
Ultra? You made Uranium or something? Is that the
Yes,
one? Because I just
maybe.
saw someone mention it in the last
I
week.
can't remember which one it is, but it's got like they've got like all new music, all new like they have people on board doing a lot of work on this thing. Like it is basically
And is this a hacked ROM?
Yeah.
Or so it's not a
effectively
rewrite, it's a hack on an existing one.
yes,
Okay.
but a complete overdo of
Yeah.
all of it, effectively, to just using the ROM as the base.
Yeah.
But they just added an area that is incredibly racist.
Oh, okay.
So, a little bit of
What's-
backlash.
How racist
What's
are we
that?
talking?
Yeah,
Like the entire area is based on a combination of Middle Eastern and Indian cliche tropes
Oh, okay.
combined,
Yeah.
Middle Indian.
and then just a whole lot of not good things apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So now it's been cancelled.
So everyone's like, "Oh, why do you have to go and do
That's
this?
why-
You're
that's
doing
why
so
you-
well."
That's why you put it in England, because all those cliches are hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, pork pie, McGovern.
No
Done.
one can get mad when you just make fun of the British because it's the
Well, like
British.
they did enough
Like,
colonization.
I am
that-
British.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't give a shit.
yeah, they don't have the
It's
centuries
hilarious.
of oppression. They
Yeah,
did the
yeah.
centuries of oppressing.
Yeah, so fair cop.
So,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, if you make fun of an accent or a queen or a good killing of a princess, it's fine. I put in Pokemon ROM drama and got nothing. So,
So I just sticking on
your story.
NDS
Yes.
for a little bit. So I spent $8 and got myself a copy of Puzzle Quest Galactrix.
Hell yeah.
And I tried to play it years ago, and I never clicked with the matching mechanic, because the matching mechanic is very different than normal Match 3, where it's a hexagon, and because you're in space, there's no down. It'll only ever fill the direction you swipe, which is not as intuitive as what we're trained to, just everything going
Everything
down.
is gravity fed.
Yeah, but after a little bit, and I got it, that is a good game. Like
Puzzle Quest is
yeah,
it's a good one.
Well, because I like Puzzle Quest, the series, and I like.
Can we say that we like the series anymore? We like some. We like some of the initial entries.
I like Puzzle Quest 1. I like Puzzle Quest Galactrix. Puzzle Quest 2 was okay.
And then it all sort of went free to play.
But now there's also, I guess there's Puzzle Quest Marvel and there's Puzzle Quest Magic. And Puzzle Quest 3 is coming and that's going to be free to play, which kind of makes me a bit sad. And then I guess there's Gems of War, which was I think the original developers went off and
spin off and did that.
Did their own thing there. But yeah, it's a good matching mechanic and like it's pretty robust, the RPG part, which sort of surprised me. Like just how much it's like, I can actually buy and sell stuff and like there's mining I can go do and there's like things to upgrade and like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. But the only way you're going to play it is on the DS. Like compared to like all the other Puzzle Quest games, like Puzzle Quest 1 got
the only legal way you're going to play it.
Well, yes, the only legal way you're going to play it will be on a... Yes.
Yes.
But yeah. But yeah, because Puzzle Quest 1 got a remake, I think.
Yeah, I think it might have even got a Switch release.
Yeah, it got a remake onto Switch, which honestly is the best Puzzle Quest. If you're gonna play anyone, probably just play that one. But yeah, if you got like an old DS lying around, I got a ROM. I've got a ROM. I did actually buy it. I got a legitimate copy.
Cartridge.
Yes. However, there are alternatives,
other avenues,
which yeah, they're there. But worth checking out. I think you just have to get past that initial training period of how the matching works, and then it's pretty cool.
Okay. Yes, it was.
The Legend Returns, Puzzle Quest: The Legend Returns.
Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us. I suppose I might just talk about a game first, one of the bigger ones, and then we can go through, and we can go back to handhelds and other rambling as we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So I played through. Which is not a new game. It's a new game for consoles. Darq. Now, Darq came out...
That's with a Q at the end,
yes,
isn't it? Yeah.
Came out last year. Small studio. Originally, I thought it was one guy, but the credits indicate far more than one guy.
Well, it never is one guy.
No.
Maybe with the exception of Stardew. I have a feeling that was...
There's a couple there are a couple that one guys. Oh God, I had at least one this year that was one... Well, Elysium. That was pretty much one guy. No, there's more people in the credits, but that's like... special thanks and it's just like, and here's the publishers team, and it's like, okay, well, these people did some QA and some marketing and stuff like that, but when it came down to like graphics, gameplay, design, programming, it was just one guy. So anyway, so Darq, and it's pretty simple to throw up. It's a Limbo like in the sense that it's also a bit grimdark, also a fan of the world created by Tim Burton, because you know what's cool? Black and white striped shirts. So it's a pretty simple structure. It's level based. It's kind of like The Room, like Silent Hill, The Room. You start in an apartment each time. You go to sleep, and then you go to a new world, and that new world is a puzzle area which has a new mechanic, just like all dreams. But the main mechanic in the game is simply you walk up to a flat wall. You kind of put your hand to it, and as long as you put your hand to it, if you put the action button, the world rotates to make that the new down.
Okay.
Yeah. And really the thing about this game is puzzle-wise, structure-wise, it's got some stealth. Here's how you solve every stealth. You hold the stealth button and you move when they're not looking at you, and then you hide. That's it. They don't want anything more from you than that.
And basic.
There'll be like one stealth thing per level, and it's not hard to do. But what is cool to do is let them see you and see how they kill you, just like Limbo. So anyway,
other game, Prince of Persia used to do that too. Like I wanted to see the death animations.
Oh yeah. Whenever you found like a new unique thing, you're like, oh, what happens if I get killed by this?
It used to be more of a thing. Like I think
Heart of Darkness.
Tomb Raider did it a bit. The new Tomb Raider, because it has
make failing interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Inside is like the gold standard.
Yeah.
It is. Holy fuck. Okay. And this Darq is no Inside, but very few things are. So it's a series, I think, 7 levels or so in the main game, and since then they've added 2 more levels, which you just access from the main screen whenever you want. It's like, okay. And they added some more. But when it comes down, solid puzzles. It's a little bit annoying in the way that most of these can be, where you see, this is what I need to do, but I need to go to this room to get that, then I have to go back to this room, I have to activate that, then I can go back to that room that I got it from. There's a lot of walk. It's not one of the worst in the genre, but it is a problem of the genre, which again I think Inside mostly solved, other than one area. But yeah, you still get that like, okay, I know the solution now. It's just executing that takes a little bit of time. The real thing about it is it's stylish as hell. I believe it might be an animation studio that sort of got into it first. It's just weird things like. Okay, so they've got that rotating mechanism that persists throughout the game, and then each level adds new stuff, but it tends to most of those mechanics will then continue in the next levels as well, so it gets a bit more robust. Yeah. So they've got like levers on the floor, and when you pull the lever, if you go forward, it pushes you into the next plane of the world or pulls you back depending on which direction you pull. Now they could just have a corridor that you walk down. Like, why is there a lever you pull? Why is there a lever? Because they made this really cool animation that like pushes the world. Like, ooh, that looks rad every time. I'm just going to do it a few more times. It's got nice, creepy enemies. I didn't really try to parse what the story was trying to tell me. Probably it's a sick kid dying. It always is. The 2 extra levels they added were pretty funky. They got a little bit wackier with some of their mechanics, which was good to see. It's just a really, really solid one of those. If you like a puzzle platformer, very low on the platformer, mostly just puzzle based. They've got an inventory wheel that has like 12 or 16 slots.
Oh, how many things you have max?
I think the most I ever had was 6 things.
They were optimistic.
Just in case.
And that was because I did a level where you had to put a number of its equivalent of keys for that level. Okay, spoiler, heads. And I'm like, no. But because I had one, the game, I found one bug and I had to restart that level. And I was like, oh, well, I know I don't have to put all the things there until the end, so I'm just going to keep everything in my inventory till the end and then do it all in one big go. So that was like me trying to maximize the use of inventory. And even then I didn't even fill it half. I'm like, this ambitious, as you say. But it's a cool little game. I'm not sure how much. I think it's 15 or 20.
But there is a big sale on Switch at the moment.
There is. It's on everything.
Yeah.
So it's a good little game. I was just thinking, did I review this on the radio? No, I'm going to review it on the radio. I haven't written it yet. Sometimes the old noggin doesn't quite play games right. But Darq, if you're looking for a puzzle platformer, it's not going to blow you away, but the style might. It's very, very cool. And the good level of variety. But it is an above average, but not brilliant one. So that's Darq.
You've just been ruined by... Inside, yeah.
Making one of the best games of all time does make comparisons difficult.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what their next game is. I have no expectations other than it being good. It'll probably be the same formula again to a degree, because they're just very, very good at doing that. But, man, just thinking about some of those scenarios. Man, the big sound wave area.
What if it's just called Outside? But it's completely different.
No,
it's not even connected.
They have released some screenshots, and it was like it was a bit like the Hideo Kojima original teaser for Death Stranding, like on this like open beach area. Yeah. It looked like it might be 3D actually.
Okay.
Like, but I don't know, maybe not. I mean, Inside was 3D, but it was 2D gameplay, so I don't know. So, maybe it's going to be terrible. I can always hope, just for the rants. Okay.
Do you think that Stardew Valley, on the subject of games which have kind of peaked?
Oh, peaked, yeah.
Do you think Stardew Valley has just ruined the farming genre?
I don't know if it has. I think it's made things very difficult in the same way that Inside has for those types of games. Because I don't think it's... There's a lot of other farming games that do different things. Yeah. But there's a lot that have tried to be Stardew. That's where it failed.
Yeah, because I think there's one call I've seen.
There's the Necker one.
Yeah, there's the Graveyard Keeper.
Graveyard Keeper.
Which I played a bit of.
Which was
it was fine,
acceptable and it worked.
But it makes you realize how good Stardew Valley is.
Yeah.
And there's One Lonely Outpost, I think, is like a space one that's coming out.
Yeah. News to me.
Yeah, which maybe that'll be more my bag because I like space. But because Gerald's been playing a lot of it.
You can pretend to be.
I see quite often when I log onto my Switch.
Yeah, and I'm just like, because there was like Story of Seasons that came out just recently. I'm sure there's some Harvest Moons that have been happening, but I just like I look at like anything, any kind of Harvest Moon like
But it's not Stardew.
Yeah,
And Stardew just has so much content.
It's not Stardew.
No.
Like, it's kind of peaked.
I think the thing that gets me is that like so many of those games feel like busy work to me, and Stardew never has. I don't know why.
Oh, it did for me.
Like
I keep trying. Every like I don't know, twice a year I try to start.
Because I've been playing it a little bit since the last update, just to get to what that update added, and I finally got to it, and it's like I haven't seen my farm in the last 5 times I've played it because I'm playing the new bit of content, and I feel bad, but it's really good. Yeah. I
need to try again. I just try it late at night.
It's one of those things
they're
like,
talking to me again, and I fall asleep. Oh god. I thought I was supposed to plant some carrots.
I did find, because I'm playing it on PC, I did add a few quality of life mods that really helped. Things like a little automation system. So if you put a chest next to like the cheese maker, it just automatically pulls the cheese out when it's done. Stuff like that.
Yeah, can someone mod
it into... a few little quality of life considered maybe cheaty.
Can someone mod it into Factoria?
Oh god. I mean, Factoria has it, technically.
But just imagine the charm, though, of Stardew, but with the...
Just change the tile set.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it is. Yeah. Like, that mod is pretty robust. Yeah. You can fully automate a farm.
More conveyor belts, please.
And some of that automation is using things that now exist as core Stardew mechanics. Yeah. Like the little dynamos, the little green thingies in the community center.
Oh, yeah.
So once you finish your community center, you can get dynamo huts to put on your farm, and then they'll farm and harvest for you in a radius around it.
Oh, that's cute.
Did you say slaves?
Yeah, basically. Little jelly slaves.
Well, speaking of games that kind of topped of genre, Disco Elysium, the final cut released like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. Is it still on
shame
sale?
About it being banned here and everything. Yeah. It's been so hard to find.
Is it still on sale? Yeah, it's still there? No one's bothered.
No one's taken it down. There.
Yeah, just no one cares.
I kind of think
it is a really weird thing.
Look, I kind of think that's the thing with it. Nobody cares to change the rules because it's not worth anyone's time politically.
Yeah.
But no one actually gives a fuck.
Yeah.
They'll only care if the right mother kicks up a fuss. And honestly, who's going to play Disco Elysium?
Literally no one.
It's like the old joke of the Simpsons when they go to the adult section of the video. It's like, Brideshead's going to get revisited tonight. Because it's like, because this is an adult game. It's not Postal. It's not Mortal Kombat. It's let's talk about existentialism and politics. But we'll do it in a fun way.
Now, I guess the question is, will Nintendo respect it?
Oh, it doesn't need to. Like I buy very few things physical on the Switch anyway. And the thing is, the physical, I don't even know when that's. Well, there is no Switch release anyway, so I could still import it physically if I want because it's all region free. But I also have accounts on every store, so I just go and buy it from the US or the UK. I just work out who has the best exchange rate at the time. Great. So because they're not going to give a shit elsewhere, because no one else is as strict. It's like, it's going to be an M-rated game. I have multiple games with full frontal nudity on the Switch. They don't give a shit.
They've stopped caring.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's rated properly and it's not like
the ratings there, the warnings are there,
and those games are doing it. Neither of them are porn. It's just like, someone walks into a bathroom and they're naked. It's like, okay.
I mean, the Japanese eShop is full of FMV dating games.
Some of those are
not
just
even games. They're just straight up just FMV. You have a girlfriend on your Switch.
You talk to a girl. What I like about those games is they're still available on our store, but there's no English.
Yeah. They've just released the same thing.
Yeah. They're just like, but warning, no English in this game. I'm like, weird choice.
But when they're setting up the store, it's like a tick box of like, where do you want to go? It's like
all of it. Just go everywhere.
I see no reason not to.
There's Japanese people in Australia who have only Australian eShop accounts.
It's just we should just start doing just random games in just random languages and releasing them.
Try and play them.
Yeah, just give it a shot.
I don't understand any of it, but it's fun.
So anyway, it released. I have only played a little bit of it because I just wanted to see what the voice work and such was like. I rolled a new character. I decided to make them dumb as a post, but super empathetic, weak as hell, but very agile.
You made me.
I just
the dumb part, I guess.
On the sliders, I just went, like, let's see what this does.
That's the best way to play any role-playing game.
Well, I think it's Disco Elysium. Going for extremes is what you want.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean,
You don't want to be middle of the road.
I was thinking about because I bet you can modding the game to be the best cop.
Yeah.
And no, I'm just really smart. I'm perceptive. I give myself all the skills, and then I just see what happens. And I bet it would be really unsatisfying.
Probably.
So yeah, voice work. It's great. It sounds wonderful. Have you both touched in on it? Or?
Yes.
Not yet.
So I have been playing it on the iPad.
Oh yeah,
Just
you've
with,
been streaming it
with Steam Link. And yeah, they've got some really good iPad support, or tablet support in there. Also gave it a little bit of a go with the controller to kind of see how it feels. I wouldn't mind putting it on the TV and playing it with a controller, because I feel like Cheryl would really like watching me play that game. So
I think I was talking about it the other week, where I think it actually would be a good group game, because it's good storytelling, and then it comes to okay, well, what should we try? Go you've got, it says extremely low next to this. It's do not try. It's but extremely low doesn't mean impossible.
There's still a chance.
Let's see what happens. Because it just...
Yeah, especially now that it's voiced. It just makes that a bit easier in a group environment. You're not waiting for has everyone read it? Okay. Has everyone read it? Okay.
The only thing that I thought... just because they made such a big deal about all text was voiced, descriptions of items you click on the game, they're still just text.
Yeah.
I'm okay, I guess.
All characters are
technically
voiced.
correct.
I guess your million lines of dialogue's fine, I guess. But yeah, everyone it's. I have not found any voice that I find jarring that isn't just yep, that's fine. They changed the kid that plays Kuno, great, because it's always fucking annoying. New kid's still annoying, but just a little bit slightly differently. I enjoyed that my new character could just grab his tie off the fan instead of failing and crying. God, I think maybe my favorite thing about Disco Elysium is just how often the option is there to just cry.
It's a lot. It's everything. Anytime you get even the
what do you want to do?
negativity.
It's I could kick down the door, I could go interrogate this person, or I could have a bit of a cry. And so often I think, yeah,
it's very true to life.
Just when you're doing it with people and they just why are you crying? Stop that. It could be a real power move.
Yeah. It's a very special game.
Oh shit, it's a good game. Play Disco Elysium. That's okay. Just I don't often talk about the stupid signs I put up behind us, but this one's no jail, please. Please don't. We owned it before it was banned. But yeah, I don't think anyone really cares.
No.
I wish they'd just get on board, and I don't know. I don't know how you can fix these things politically, because you talk to anyone about it, including the ratings board themselves, and everyone thinks it's a ridiculous situation.
But what politician is going to get up and spend political capital on changing the rating system?
Yeah, because I think it requires...
The thing is, it's much easier to not try rather than to make a subset of the community angry that you're trying.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I believe it requires all states to agree in Australia. Yeah. So it means that whoever puts it forward, it becomes a political football for the other people to go up and oh, look, that side of politics, they want to... they don't care. They're just using it for points.
Yeah. Just playing politics with it.
Just we want cool existential games.
I do like that we're now at a spot, though, that half the people on the ratings board have basically openly gone it's dumb, but we have to follow the rules.
Yeah. These are the rules that we have
fully agree with you.
I suppose the other thing on Disco's Final Cut, if you don't know what's different about it, every character is voiced. On the consoles, it's 4K 60, though apparently that's not great. It runs fine on my PC still, but they added new quests, political vision quests. Now, you can only do one per playthrough because it goes with whatever politics you have aligned yourself with. But what it does is, because one of the weaker parts at the end game of that is that there's all this political discussion, and you align yourself to a political belief system and such. It didn't really relate to anything. Well, now it does. Now it has a big vision quest.
So they've tied it in.
Yeah, which is cool because it is a game I think that's probably going to teach a lot of people about politics. It's very cynical about all politics to a degree, but I think the game itself is it's not just all cynicism. It's actually looks at things in a human way. It's cool. It's great. It's some of the best writing I've ever had. Anyway, enough sucking Disco Elysium off. Shall we do some news?
Some news.
Some news. I wonder what I've put on this list. Some of the most fun news I've ever got to report this week. MLB The Show. Everyone's favorite baseball game. Developed and published by Sony Interactive. So when they renewed the license, the MLB organization, Major League Baseball, said, you can have it again, but whatever you make has to be multi-platform. And Sony went, I guess. So it was announced it would be coming to Xbox Series X and S. Wonderful, everyone said. And then this week, it's coming day one to Game Pass on Series X and S. A game that on its front cover has PlayStation Studios written on it.
And we are in a bizarre world.
Comes to Microsoft platforms, to Microsoft customers at no additional cost if they are subscribed to Game Pass.
It's just free advertising for PlayStation.
Yeah. Part of what caused this is, of course, the game is not published by Sony on Xbox. It is published by MLB. And they made the deal.
So MLB went, fuck you.
What a weird world we live in.
It's very strange.
I don't care. I'm never going to play a baseball game. But it's a big seller. It's a big...
Yeah, I know a couple of people who are into it in the US.
Yeah, it is the baseball game.
Well, it does kind of just eliminate the purpose of being an exclusive. They've now just given them all these people the reason to just go get an Xbox.
Yeah,
if that's the reason that they're playing.
Well, and especially with shortages of next gen hardware, if that's your game, you'll just get whichever one you can get first.
You don't care.
And you go, oh, I can get that with Game Pass, and then because it's just your game, you're actually spending more because it's the cost of two games for a year. Maybe you'll play something else, or maybe you just end up playing because it is a game that people just play persistently until the next one comes out. So
I wonder if the next one will be on Game Pass, or Sony will be like, no, none of that.
Only on Game Pass.
Yeah.
what I secretly am just like, what if Sony made the Xbox version real bad? It's just a bunch of fart noises.
Well, we didn't publish it.
Yeah. Billboarded sprites.
I'm just picturing in the Sony studios and them having Xboxes to develop on,
developing QA and.
Yeah, I don't know
about
the
be a very surreal.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah. It's in a separate room, an entirely separate team of people.
We've built a new floor for you guys to work in. It's only 3/4 the height of the other floors. That's all you deserve.
It's also below ground.
So that was a fun one. Okay, other fun ones. Oh, okay. This is just a little bit of a PSA. The Play at Home initiative is running for PlayStation at the moment. Now, Play at Home, I'm just going to pull them up because I can't remember them all off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah, for a moment. Yeah. I thought this was was Fold at Home.
Oh, yes, that is another thing.
But it's with games, so what you do is you leave a game running. You don't play it, and it lets someone else play it.
How can we find a way to incorporate, was it protein folding?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Into cryptocurrency? So that somehow...
But that just won't work for them, because they'd be like, but I could just use all the power on crypto and not help humanity in any way.
How could the coin be powered?
You change them...
the problem is it's about solving
you change the thing it's solving to actually be folding.
Be useful, yeah.
As opposed
you
to
somehow make the... You make the blockchain out of actual proteins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then after long enough, you just have every protein sequence in the chain.
Okay, shut up. Paul was talking. Okay. There was ABC,
I'm going to make my own coin when I get home.
Early morning news was on, and there's this guy I haven't seen before that's been hosting it, and they're just talking. He's like, okay, well, now time for another subject. That's the worst segue I've ever heard in my life. And my wife was like, what are you saying on the show? I go, well, sometimes I just say, shut up. I'm talking now.
Which is technically better.
Yeah, I think so. So Play at Home. You can get Res Infinite, Abzu, The Witness, Into the Gungeon, Subnautica, Moss, Atrobot, Paper Beast, and Thumper.
That's a good list.
All for the price of nothing. That also means everyone that's not PlayStation Plus subscribers. These are just free games for anyone that has a PSN account. And coming up, I think in a week and a half, they will have a few weeks where you can also grab Horizon Zero Dawn.
It is a very good list.
Those are all very good games. The worst game is Abzu, and that's still like pretty well made. I just didn't love it. All the other games are like bloody great.
I haven't played Res Infinite.
I mean, it's old Res, but they added a new area.
Is that the VR one?
Well, you can play it not in VR, but you can play it in VR.
Yeah.
But since you have VR, I highly recommend it in VR.
Yeah, well, I
like
thought that's a
Thumper.
VR game. It'd be kind of amazing.
Definitely play Thumper in VR.
Yeah, because a few of those are VR only games. That's Moss, Astrobot, and Paper Beast. And then Res Infinite and Thumper have PlayStation VR options.
A Subnautica, maybe? I know there's PC.
I don't think so on PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't think so, though.
Yep,
I don't think it
paying
does.
for them anyway, so bonus if it does.
No complaining. I have actually been playing some Paper Beast, which I previously had, but I'll talk about that later in the show. Where am I?
Man, Witness is a good game.
Witness is very good.
I've been playing that on iPad. It is a good tablet game.
Okay, April Fools was this week.
It was.
Is there now
funny jokes?
a thing where the April Fools is just used as a guise to actually do real announcements?
I
seems
There
call
have been a lot of real announcements this week.
I call April Fools the lol just joking bro day of days, because if
get away
if
with
it,
anything.
Yeah, if it lands, they're like, oh well, let's actually do it, and if it doesn't, it's like lol, just joking, bro.
Yeah, I think there's now a divide. There's still the companies that go like obviously cannot ever be done jokes.
Yeah,
and then there's a lot of companies that go like, here's an idea we've got. It's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But it's technically achievable.
Yeah.
but the thing is, why is it ever a surprise? People that like a brand tend to like that brand when it's taken to some sort of wacky extreme.
Yeah.
Now, they may not want to pay big money for such a thing, but they'll still find the idea appealing.
Yeah.
It's like, for some reason, it wasn't a joke. They just made it straight up. But I think of bloody Far Cry when they did the...
Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon. Yeah, it's like people will want this. They don't want a full game, but they'll play it for 6 hours, no problem. So they made a little game. It was Blood Dragon. People loved it. That was great. So this year, the only thing I remember was a joke from last year, which was Platinum Games saying, we're making this shmup where it's 3 ships and they can dock together, so there can be 1 ship or 3 separate ships moving around. And then they said, oh, lol, bro, just joking. They made it for reals. And in fact, it's going to be the first of a new series of games we're making, which are neo-classics. So it's classic games with modern technology. Like, great. It's coming to the Switch, and if it has a tape mode, I'll play it with my bloody flip switch grip thing. And that's the only reason I'll play it. I mean, it looks fine. It's a shmup.
There was a Dust remake. I think it's called Dust.
Yep. Yeah.
Where they've gone back, because I mean, Dust itself is a boomer shooter, and they gone back to, I think, about 82 was the year they're aiming for, which is like back when there were these like series of top-down games which would only move when you move, and sort of like single screen maps that kind of play through. I love them. Like Zit and Croz were kind of like ASCII versions of these things.
I love you vocalizing
Croz. So. Yeah, which, I mean, that was what in Frog Fractions made heavy use of that aesthetic, which was really cool.
Old PC nerds.
Yeah, but that was
Do you like playing games on bulletin boards? Well, I've got the game for you. Yeah, so what I like about that is I saw the announcement that it was real before I realized there'd been an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it wasn't a joke after all. I'm like, what wasn't?
Yeah.
This wasn't on
That
my
was a
list.
joke?
What? Trying to think of anything else. So, Deathloop had a serial called Deathloops. I mean, it's just a fun piece of art. That's fine. It's hard to actually do something that's clever and fun.
Overwatch did an arcade mode, and they changed a bunch of stuff on the heroes for it.
Oh,
and everyone went, you should keep this. It's really fun.
Yeah. Well, Blizzard
and some of the changes are actually good.
Because Blizzard normally put a bit of
effort.
They
normally go nuts on that stuff. I didn't see much of it this year.
I saw World of Warcraft accidentally leaked its patch notes, which were funny, but I just saw people angry that it was going to be so long.
I remember
content.
Way back, I think it was before Lich King or Cataclysm, where they showed off the new expansion. It had the Guitar Hero Bard class. That was amazing.
Oh, that was
such a good joke. Like, oh yeah, the next expansion is gonna have bards, and you can play like you cast spells by playing Guitar Hero type with a guitar controller.
I can go and find my zgamesau.net roundup of April Fool's jokes.
I think another one was. We'll probably talk about it in a bit. Be Metroid 2D.
But that wasn't an April Fool's.
But I think they had April Fool's and they hid it in there somewhere.
Did they?
I think it was like a fake out.
I don't know if that's right. Let's judge you until we work it out.
You can look it up if you want.
Yeah.
Don't look it up, and then we can judge him forever.
Oh yes.
We'll see. Was James?
I do like some of the non-gaming like tech ones that came out that were actually the April Fools. Like Stack Overflow had their.
Isn't it an April
Is
Fool's
there
joke
anymore? So
it was.
I think James was right.
Now we're going to judge you for
moral
knowing too much.
And is James right?
Well, this doesn't have anything about it being a joke in the first place.
And Paul is researching this very intently. It's very important if James is right or wrong.
Yeah, like Stack Overflow did a thing where like you copied code and it said, "No, you've used 2 of your 3 copies for today."
That's a good one.
That was very funny.
I like that
Please
one.
pay us to get more copies.
That's
I'm
a
like,
good
that's
one.
perfect
Yeah.
because I could see someone doing this. I could see a company implementing this.
Paul, you can let it go.
100%.
You can move on.
But I want to know if I missed a thing. I could add it to my list. Anyway, so I made a great article on Z Games, which was me writing like 3 sentences and saying, here's just a bunch of links. And I put no commentary on any of them. I just said, like, is it responsible to put so many media links in a single web page? You tell me. So there was a demake of Control for PS1. That's right. So a lot of Bug Snacks said a lot of people would put off by the bug nature, so they just made snacks. So it's you just walk around, there's just a hamburger line on the ground. There's a pack of chips over there.
Perfect.
So Snacks was good. Smite Go. Ubisoft as always just puts like a 1-day mode out, and you like should just make that a couple of weeks or something. Why wouldn't you? Razer had RGB hair dye.
Yeah. Razer always does some weird shit.
I didn't mind EB Games. They just had some clothing, which was just a whole bunch of sales stickers.
You know what EB Games should do?
That should be a real shirt, and that should have been
It probably is.
What they should do on April Fools is not have a sale. Like take all of the sale signage
just
down.
one day.
Just for one day. But actually have everything on sale.
There was a new trailer for Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139, which was just highlighting like the fishing and shit like that.
It's a pretty legitimate ad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, so that's enough of that terrible day. Terrible day.
You don't enjoy April Fool's Day.
I did get got
do you?
because
did?
one of my Discord servers changed their server icon to the same thing but with the notification one on it. And it got me twice.
Frustrating.
I clicked on I'm like, what? I have this muted. And I'm like, oh, you bastards. And then maybe like 3 hours later, I glance over, I'm like, what? I'm like, wait a second. I'm an idiot.
There was, I'm trying to remember. There was just a very good one where it's like, so people got very excited, and then it's just everyone pointing out, like, the date. Stop getting excited. The date. But I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's too forced. I don't want my japes to be forced.
It's a marketing date.
Yeah. It's basically the Super Bowl. It's like, hey, what good ads did we find? Okay. Foxconn. The chairman of Foxconn did a little interview saying that yes, manufacturing is affecting even us with the silicon chip shortage that's going on, and we're not expected to go back to full capacity until at least Q2 next year. So expect it to still remain difficult to get electronics, and probably a whole bunch of things to get delayed.
Yeah.
That Playdate might not be coming out this year anymore. But what about our Switch Pros? Will it come out, but there'll be like 5 of them?
Maybe.
But yeah, you're pissed off you got rid of your PS5 pre-order now, Sam.
No, not really.
No, it's fine. I'm very happy that...
I mean, I know you hate us talking about it, but that money did go into crypto.
Oh, you've done
Sorry.
well.
I gotta go buy 10 PS5s when I can get them. Thank you very much.
Oh, fair enough. I'm happy I got mine because my PS4 is dead and my PS3 is dead.
I have not touched the PS4.
Yeah.
this for a very long time.
You know-
so I know that the same would have happened to the PS5.
Yeah, like the PS5 is very wasted in our house at the moment. Too,
Mine doesn't get a whole lot of use other
Yeah.
than playing It Takes Two with you and Soulstorm, which we'll
Oh,
talk about
right.
both those later,
Yeah.
I guess. Should I have that on my list?
Well, I haven't actually. We maybe want
Oh,
to
yeah.
save that one because I haven't even played it yet.
And I want to.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil the game. I'm just
How
going to.
dare you spoil a remake of a game that's not quite a remake?
Yeah, I'll give you some
Yeah.
some hot takes.
Hot takes, Paul's hot
Yeah,
takes,
some steamy hot Odyssey.
moist takes.
Some moist takes. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, that chip shortage is going to keep screwing things up.
I wonder what's going to do with the iPhone this year.
One bit of news. I mean, I know a lot of Android phones have just delayed this year's model and stuff. But one bit of news that didn't really get much talk about it, because I think we all expected something to happen. Nintendo's date came, the date where they were shutting everything down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and then
It's like
nothing.
the day that
We're
killed.
like, and we're like, what's going to happen?
Why did
What's
they
the
do
secret?
this?
Why is everything ending on this day?
Because they could.
Yeah, this is March 31st. Like,
'cause-
no, we just want to
Because
cancel
they
a bunch of
wanted
stuff.
to release Tetris 99.
No, Pac-Man. Oh,
Pac-Man.
yeah, Pac-Man 99.
Yeah, my bad.
yeah. What I'm waiting for is Tetris 99.99. We have to play 99 games of Tetris 99
do
at
you
once.
think that they have a limited amount of server space? And to release Pac-Man 99, they had to delete the Mario stuff. like they physically had to delete it.
Well, they've just got a certain number of slots. Oh, shit.
Like their bandwidth limit on the AWS
It's
can
99.
only handle like two games.
It's in the title, Sam.
Yeah, it was Mario 25, but then All Stars took up the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you can still buy at a reasonable
Yeah.
price on Amazon or whatever the hell you want.
I
'Cause
will not buy that piece
I
of
mean,
shit.
reasonable is...
Well, I mean, like not at a scalper price. If you just want to go, I think Amazon had it for like $65 or something. It's like
For some
you
of the
wanted to.
laziest ports of all
yeah,
time.
like, I haven't bought it. I almost did because my FOMO kicked in.
I do have
and
it.
then I went, no.
yeah.
I do have it.
Yeah.
Look, I own all
regret.
those games. And since I own them, I'm very comfortable pirating those games. So I'll play them at an even
In
better
4K HD.
Yeah,
60
with
frames a
good
second.
controls and mods on them that fix up a bunch of stuff. Like, oh look, I can play at widescreen at 60 frames. Why can't you?
Go back
yeah.
and play 64 in VR.
So yes, exactly. So yes, Nintendo closed down Mario 25, took Mario All Stars, 3D All Stars off sale, and
For reasons.
for reasons, yeah. And they also announced now Pac-Man 99, which is Tetris 99, but with Pac-Man instead of Tetris.
Like, I don't so much mind the idea of being like seasonal classic 99 as
Yeah.
like a thing. Like, okay,
I just
whatever.
want them to do
like,
random numbers, like 99, and then they did 25. Just do like Pac-Man 77. And then bring out like Zelda
no.
37.
Oh, no.
Like,
No,
just
take-
randomize the numbers.
No, I forgot which one was the Nazi number. No, 77's fine. I was like, no, Sam,
It's
no.
not 77.
It's like,
it's
oh,
fine.
no, that one's
88,
fine. That's like,
88.
don't say it. Don't say it.
do you reckon they'll do
Two
Zelda?
fat ladies.
Do you think they'll do Zelda 88?
Zelda.
I think
Because that could be pretty
Like,
cool.
it would work for the
yeah.
original and for Zelda 2.
Yeah, I'm
Both
thinking.
of
I'm
them would
thinking
make
original.
very good, like...
yeah. Battle
I think it
Royale
would work.
games.
I think
I
it
don't know how to work, but
How about instead of 4 swords, they have 99 swords?
What was that one on the 3DS? It was like 3 people. There was a Zelda game that was 3.
Triforce Heroes.
Yeah. Just do that, but have like 3 times 3 times 3. It's 27.
I was about to say, do you think that's 99?
You can't make 99 just by power of 3.
No, you can't.
I'm not stupid, Paul. I'm only stupid.
Goodness gracious me. Yeah, so that's Nintendo. Okay. Loot boxes, more like cock boxes. I don't know why I write the things I write. Yeah, so there was a report that came out that said the thing that everyone knows, and I was surprised when I did talk to some people that were surprised by this. It's like, oh, we finally got proof that loot boxes are gambling. Yeah, no shit.
yeah.
Who really
Did anyone need proof?
who
Yeah.
genuinely ever thought this? It was always everyone that said it, and then everyone that didn't say it were people that use it to make money, and they come up with terms like surprise mechanics. Yeah. So basically, it came out, and it's like, yeah, this is shit. It's bad.
I do think there's a conversation about where does the line get drawn for a loot box. Like, if you want to like be really reductionist, like if you're playing Diablo, each kill you get you get is a loot box, like as it exists as a mechanic. Like where
like
does
randomized drops?
Yeah, where does this something stop being just like a mechanic and start being a loot box?
I mean, well, an easy comparison to do is when there's money.
Can you
involved.
buy with money?
Well, yeah, money, yeah.
But then
is it
also
separated from the game?
This is something that I personally have, and if you notice, I don't like games like that because I feel they're trying to exploit gambling impulses. So I do agree with you, but also I'm not going to make legislation to stop people having surprise mechanics in games. And sometimes, I obviously have my own limits in that as well. There are things that are randomized in games that I'm fine with.
Yeah, I mean, randomization is a pretty important part of
video
games.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I do prefer a game that says, okay, this is what the rocket launcher is, than a game that gives me 1,000 rocket launchers with randomized stats.
Yeah, so classic TF2 versus current TF2.
Yeah. Does it have randomized? That's just too wacky these days.
They started off doing cool, unique weapons.
Yeah.
That like
I remember
mechanics.
that.
And now it's just like, you get a weapon, it's got stuff on it. Who cares?
I'm going to briefly tangent.
Variances.
I'll do a tangent. Impossible.
Because it is kind of relevant to this randomization conversation.
That's...
one
Not tangent enough.
Because one of the games I checked out kind of briefly was Magic Legends.
Ah, yes.
The new action RPG set in the Magic universe. Which have you played it?
I haven't played it. Yeah. I've seen enough of it.
Which, on its surface, seems like a serviceable action RPG. You're clicking around, you got abilities and things like that.
Seems okay.
But they've mushed it up with deck building. So imagine you're playing an action RPG where you never quite know what abilities you're going to have.
Fun.
Yeah. And so you can't just sit there and go, what build am I going to have? Where are my synergies?
Just whatever cards you get.
It's like, well, what chance do I have of getting this which may synergize with this? And it doesn't really work.
No.
And
it also doesn't help that it's really hard to visually see what you've got.
Yeah.
Would you say this is the card implementation of Balan Wonderworld's curvature of the world thing? They tried to think it didn't work, but they did it anyway?
Yeah, like, I don't think you can fix this.
No.
Like, short of removing the mechanic.
Because the biggest thing with any games that use cards or decks as a mechanic is half of the strategy revolves around, like, balancing how likely you are to get a specific card. Which is, it's what all collectible card games are.
Yeah.
And Magic itself is that, like, you build a deck and the amount of cards you put in that deck is going to be based on which cards you want to draw and how often you want to draw them. You can't chuck that into an action RPG and call it a day.
Yeah, and
it just doesn't work.
They did,
and
but you shouldn't.
And I'm sure there would have been the vast majority of people on the team who would know in their heart of hearts, does not work.
It's not their call, though.
But it's not their call.
They're extreme Magic fans. I think it's amazing.
I tried to play it. I did not have a good time, and I can't think how you could fix it apart from
because the biggest draw of an ARPG
just ripping out the whole system.
It's character builds.
Yeah,
effectively.
But what if it was random every time? Okay, so yeah, loot boxes are gambling. Who knew?
Everyone knew.
Big shock.
Deathloop has been delayed until September.
Cool.
Sad, but oh well.
That's okay.
I've got other things to play.
At this point, I just expect all games to get a delay.
Yeah.
I think for the next at least 2 or 3 years, just things are going to be all loosey-goosey.
So the next line is E3 shit. So do you think E3 is just a list of games that have been delayed?
Probably, yeah.
We've got nothing to announce, but what you were going to be playing now, you can play later.
We're going to announce all these games you know about.
It's great. They can just use the clips from last year.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So E3, there was a weird rumor going around that it was going to be like a digital paid event, and they had to get out in front of that and say, no, it's free. We can't work out a way to actually charge you to watch advertising. And then Jeff Keighley got out and said, "Oh, by the way, Summer Games Fest, that's also free." And everyone looked at him and said, "Like, no one even had a rumor about that. What are you're just a streaming."
Now we think it's not.
It's like, what's going on? We should get out and say that this podcast's
free.
Yeah,
it's totally free.
Don't worry, we're not going to charge for our shitty podcast.
But join our Patreon. No, we didn't have a Patreon. So.
We've got an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so E3 is happening, and it's going to be it's going over a weekend, which the show doesn't normally go over a weekend, but the conferences do. So I just assume E3 is just the conferences, really.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be more of them. I think the plan they said ages ago that would be like from like a 12-hour stream each day.
I don't have time for this.
That's too long.
No, I can't.
No.
I can't.
No. Like you just do you do the Nintendo thing. I mean they probably will really, which
Give
is
me
just like
1 hour.
yeah, it's like okay, have your
Slice
big
everything
conferences,
together.
and in between them you have the treehouse where you sit down with each developer and you have a walkthrough of the game.
Yeah.
Don't do deep dives separately.
Yeah, but make sure it's all scheduled. Don't just say don't give people like 4-hour blocks, which is what they were talking about at one point. I'm like, no, I don't need.
Making you watch the whole thing for the one thing you actually want.
And these days you can't even you don't even separate Bethesda and Microsoft. It's just the one company. Fun. Okay, so yeah, E3's happening. I'm still excited for it, even if it's going to be not amazing.
It's still going to be an event.
And the summer festival this time doesn't take 3 months, which is good because I was really excited before that last year until I realized it was like, so we're going to have a short thing here and then in 3 weeks another thing, and like, just why even bother? Why put it under one banner when it's
keep
just
track of it?
Yeah, I never. And then I tune in, and it's like when I tuned into the the Microsoft indie games thing, but it was on Twitch. I'm like, oh, I love these conferences, and why is this conference 4 hours long now? Oh God,
This
isn't presentation. This is
Twitch
just
like
Twitch
to tag
shit.
on their own thing.
I mean, is this us being old?
Partly,
probably.
Like, is this something that the kids want these days?
Well,
Kids have all the time.
the
in the
Twitch
world.
audience certainly likes long form things that they just sort of like have on as like a secondary screen experience stuff.
I mean, I do that.
Yeah.
I still hate.
You're younger than me.
I know. But I'm saying, like, I happily have Twitch up in the background while I'm doing other shit for streamers and communities I enjoy. But for events, no.
I've just banned Twitch like on a router level in my house, just in case I accidentally go there.
I don't mind it exists. It's just not for me.
The only thing I like is the slow transformation into a campsite.
What about
Basically.
if it was the Futurama crew doing commentaries of things, and they were streaming?
What are they commentating?
I don't know. They're going to do fresh commentary for every Futurama episode.
Oh, it's like the production team, not like the voice. Oh, they're fine because they're my friends. I think I've probably mentioned before that, I sometimes go to tell a story about some friends of mine and realize it's like a Simpsons commentary person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know that.
It's actually something Cheryl and I were discussing just the other day. The director's commentary has kind of vanished
because of streaming.
Because of streaming. And it's a shame.
I still, when I'm looking at like, do I want to purchase a physical DVD? I'm like, checking for commentaries.
Yeah.
And the big stuff still has it. But it hasn't been, because it's probably not worth it, because it's a separately licensable work. So that's not built into any streaming service so far. I'd love it if they did, because director's commentaries are one of my favorite things.
Like, imagine if Disney were like, we've got like all the commentary on all the Simpson episodes and like all the Futurama episodes as part of Disney Plus. Like that'd be cool. That'd be amazing because there's some great stuff in there.
They own
Marvel
that stuff.
To do some things because there is they've dropped the show. I can't remember what they've called it, but like the first episode is a big behind the scenes for WandaVision, and they're planning to do it for all of their things now moving forwards. Yeah. So like,
was that
once Falcon and the Winter Soldier ends, they'll drop the behind the scenes for it as an episode, and then like the movies will get it as well.
Yeah,
it's not quite commentary, but it's a kind of like look behind the curtain.
I think the commentary is the closest thing I've come to understanding like a Let's Play or like that idea of like consuming media with like this other crowd that are commenting on it that I can't actually contribute to. I'm just sort of there as an observer.
I have listened to some commentaries where people not involved in the project, they're just commenting on it. Normally it's critics and stuff. Like got a great DVD set of Brazil which has like 3 or 4 different commentaries, and like one of them is just like a critic, and one of them is Terry Gilliam obviously, and I can't remember who the other one was. But it's like, this is good academic things, and sometimes it's just fun. Maybe it's like, I'll listen to Red Letter Media talk some shit about something. They're funny sometimes. So I totally not get Twitch. I like things that are a little bit more structured, and everybody just like, yes, you. Yep. You sure are trying to make that jump for 10 minutes.
Maybe part of what it doesn't click with me with Twitch is that actually the community side of it, because like I always find it a bit, I don't know. I'm not getting value out of there being other people interacting with it.
They're more a distraction.
Yeah. Like I get that. Like if you're, maybe they can then influence it, and then I guess you feel like you're more involved with it. But I personally,
because you start having a few of those games that have had like Twitch interaction and they can influence the game in some way. But I do always feel it is a little bit arbitrary and could just be done by a random number generator.
Yeah, well, it basically is. At some stages, it pretty much is a random number generator.
And if you're listening to somebody that's entertaining do a commentary, if they're stopping to interact with the community, not only is it normally delayed, but it's like, I mean, you just stopped saying your funny diatribe to say thanks, and it's only 20 more tokens for a cum show. Like, God, just ignore it.
This is where like 90% of my Twitch usage is with very small friendly streamers with very small friendly communities.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes more
sense. And I don't give a shit what they're playing because I'm there to chat to people.
That makes more sense to me. If it's a smaller thing and...
Yeah. But like the big streamers, it's definitely like, it's just noise. It's all noise. And it's that thing of like, oh, thanks for your $1 donation, and I've earned $500,000 today.
Oh yeah, there was it kept trying to sort of get discussion happening that wasn't happening. There was some big Twitch streamer who was like, I'm gonna stream 24/7.
Yeah, Ludwig.
It's like, it's like, if you keep paying me, I'm just gonna keep.
He started a timer at 6 hours, and every sub bumps the timer up by 10 seconds.
Oh dear.
And he is like 3 weeks or something?
Something like that.
24/7 streams?
To which my response was like, in the 90s, people used to do 24/7 streams like for fucking months to years at a time. No one gives a shit.
Yeah. It's just an art thing.
But you've just managed to make a gajillion dollars by... Because like it got really low, and then suddenly everyone's something like pushing it back up again. It's like,
it hit 69 hours, and then the meme was to keep it there.
Like, you're really getting the guy by paying him shitloads of money to doing something incredibly basic, which is just letting a camera run in your extremely boring life.
Ridiculous.
I was like, wow, art is dead.
It sure is.
Like, okay, great, good. I mean, he's worked out a way to exploit his audience to make even more money. And they feel good about it.
What I find interesting about that whole situation is that when you look at it, it's technically against Twitch terms of service.
Yeah, they've made some sort of rule around it.
The main Twitch accounts were like egging him on and like tweeting about it. Like Twitch themselves were behind him doing this because it was making them shit tons of money.
Yeah, I think there's something about like, well, as long as he sleeps, it's like
But then like part of terms of services, you can't sleep on stream, but you kind of can as long as it's not the only thing. Like it's so weird.
Yeah,
there's such arbitrary rules that go on.
Also, just like to point out, I noticed there is a Twitch bag hanging from the door in the corner.
I keep various adapters and accessories in that bag. Do you need to go HDMI to VGA? You can check in that bag. And you'll
check
find
in the Twitch bag.
A friend of mine just started playing the snowboard game. I'm like, what's the snowboard game?
Damn it, Paul, we're live.
Hey, what were we talking about? Deathloop? No, we're done with that. Going up, E3.
There's all the E3 stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Were we still on E3 there?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Crash Bandicoot 4 released on PC and it requires a permanent internet connection.
Why?
Oh, that's because it's an Activision thing, is it?
So here's the thing that I like the most. So someone was like, this is shit. Anyway, I've been playing the game on my PC, but I'm going to play on my laptop. And they opened it up, and there's no cloud saves.
Oh, really?
So it adds literally no
nothing.
functionality whatsoever. Even the most basic kind of functionality is not there. But it was also cracked within a day.
Oh, yeah, I was expecting that. Yeah, someone's going to go in there because there is no functionality.
What I really like, we now live in a world where World of Warcraft, COD, and Crash Bandicoot
all exist in the same ecosystem.
Very short list of games on a platform.
It's very good. Yeah. Actually, I lost my thought of train there for a second. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a Vita PS3 thing because my PS... Oh, no, that's right. Cloud saves. So I load up Dreams on my PS5 with VR because I'm like... I was waiting for that because I didn't have a Pro. I'm like, I didn't want to do VR on the base PS4 in Dreams. So like, it's not going to be worth it.
Vomtown.
Load it up. Go into Dreams. Dreams is like, oh, we can see from your trophies and everything that you've played this game before, but we don't have any save file for you. Be sure to go to your other console and upload the save file. Oh, fuck. You don't do this automatically, Sony?
For it to be
remember, this is what got me with Last of Us. When my PS4 died and I hadn't uploaded my like 18 hours of...
The whole point of cloud saves is that it just does it.
Yeah, so Sony didn't get that memo. So I'm like, oh, okay. I finally got around. I'll plug my PS4 back in and go, oh, my drive's dead. Everything's shit. Everything's ruined. I don't have a single save from my PS4. It's like, it doesn't affect too many things, but it affects a few things. I'm like, God, I hope there's no bloody save import on God of War.
for the next game.
It's like, because I'm not going to get that, because I'm not playing through the entirety of that again.
Yeah, just go download a save. I'm sure you can.
I don't know
just
how
get
it works.
someone else's.
Can you just bring in someone else's save?
Someone might have figured out how to do it.
It's bound to be a way. Surely it's just a bunch of files.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's a bunch of files. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's not tied to accounts and shit.
There's got to be a way.
I'm not saying there is or isn't, but I'm just not convinced that there's definitely going to be a way without modding a PS4 or 5.
There could be some kind of like public-private encryption thing going, like to lock it somehow to a particular account.
Yeah.
Depends how much effort they want to go to.
Yeah.
So the engineer part of my brain just like, how would you do that?
Because that's what stop people doing it.
That's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking that they bother doing it just to annoy people. It's like, we don't want anyone cheating trophies. So we better lock this down to a stupid degree and not let anyone have any fun with their video game system. They should just have a button that says unlock all trophies and then just make it all worthless. It's good.
What if it had a button which unlock it all, but just took you out of the percentage of completion? Yeah. So if you just want to look at it and go be platinum,
look like you've got them,
but it just doesn't put you into like
doesn't upload it.
Yeah. It's like just locally. It's like have your trophies. There you go.
Sounds good. Yeah. I like it. Don't tell my Valheim crew how much I cheat in that game. We need all this wood. It's like, I'll go get some wood. Log off. Log back in. Here's all your wood. I only use it for base supplies.
Okay.
Well, the alternative
starts
is you're just going to go out wasting your
time.
Start
using it for
trees.
base supplies.
Yeah, look, some of these people pay for hours and hours a week. I log on for like 1.5 hours a week.
That's how it starts. That's how cheating starts.
I know. If I could pay for it, I would.
That's why we're in the world we're in.
We are. Okay. I have a brief note. The next Call of Duty is apparently set in World War II, but in alternative history in the 1950s.
It's like it's Wolfenstein's route.
Maybe, but also they said that rumor was wrong.
So because actually got me interested.
So but they said it was partly wrong.
Okay. So not the 1950s.
No, they said that the campaign is based in. They said
50s.
They said it's a traditional World War II shooter.
Yeah.
In the campaign, so the assumption is that perhaps this is the zombies mode, is an old history thing, or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense for zombies. That's the kind of shit they do.
We'll find out when they actually do it. There's a new No Man's Sky DLC Expedition. So you can start that game on the same planet and do everything as crew.
It's interesting because I likened it to Diablo 3 Seasons.
Oh yes,
because it's a new save, a new character. You start, you've got a set thing and a bunch of missions you do in that expedition, and it runs for however long it runs for, and then once it ends, your save is a normal save. It's a cool idea.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty. It is. I just like touching that game once in a while and be like, you really did.
That game is still
got everything in it.
Amazing.
Someone's so much more than the original process.
There's a spreadsheet out there public where someone's like, they tracked every single thing that was promised and whether or not it's now in there or not. And most of it is.
Most in there, The big thing that I'm missing from it, though, is the community bases. Because what it doesn't have. Like, persistent bases where there can be, like, a planet where people just go build shit. Like, that's not there yet.
It's almost there.
Yeah, it's like parts of it are there.
It feels like it's not quite built to actually do that. What they really need is a No Man's Sky 2, which just bases...
Because... Yeah. You kind of can, but you still have to go through that process of adding it.
Yeah. But what I want is because as soon as there can be persistent buildings, then the community will form hubs, and then it'll be like it'll be more like Elite at that point. But that's
to actually get to the extent that you can land on a planet,
which is kind of what they're trying to do with expeditions. Actually,
like the city planet, which is always promised in games.
It's actually like there's a bunch of even though the reality of that is just a bunch of hodgepodge bases scattered around.
Yeah, of course.
But like it'd be nice if you could go to a place and someone's got vendors set up or something like that. Like one day maybe they keep adding shit, so they might get there.
Somewhere
on a
roadmap.
Yeah. That's kind of what I kind of expect that they will drop a sequel eventually, and it will be more like it's a persistent universe that it's basically an MMO.
Because the bit that's missing for me at the moment is basically being able to play it like Valheim, where it's like let's pick a planet where we can all go land, and you will all contribute and build up a base. And where now it's really clunky how it works, because it's like you can join the game and then your base will spawn there, but then you log out, but it'll kind of stay there. But then when they log out, it'll disappear, and just all kinds of. It's just not quite there.
It's a little bit out of sync.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we're skipping that one because we're going to talk more about that. Super Mario Brothers sealed copy breaks the auction record, becomes the most valuable game collectible ever at $660,000 US.
Yeah.
Someone really wanted that game. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, that's most of the news. The other ones just lead on to some bigger talking points. So one, PSP, PS3, and PS Vita have now officially, since the last episode, announced that the stores are closing. Now, that time I had said that I had panicked, and I had gone and I'd hacked up my Vita, and I had a memory card that does SD cards coming in that I had to hack it to access it.
I was wondering how you got so much storage on your.
Yes,
your Vita.
so I have. So it's not a memory card; it's a game card, and the game card takes an SD card. So you have to run a bunch of software to make it do it.
Yeah, I was very confused because it uses
quite smart
proprietary.
Yes,
memory.
the actual memory cards are proprietary. They're small and expensive.
Yeah.
So even if you get the biggest one, which I think is only 64 gig, it'll cost you a pretty penny.
You're permanently playing the PS Vita game hard drive.
Pretty much. Yeah. I haven't seen because I'm like, oh shit, what if I want to play Tearaway and I've got to put the actual cart in? It's like, maybe I'll just pirate Tearaway.
Problem solved.
Tearaway's pretty. I think that's the only physical game I have that I don't always end up. I didn't also end up with digitally because I obviously got a bunch of digital games purchased and also through PS Plus. So, but I've been spending a lot of time downloading all of my PlayStation games.
Now, you will still be able to download them, right?
Yes, so that's the thing. They're closing the store. You can't
buy them.
You can't purchase. That's what they're shutting down.
Yeah.
You will be able to shut down, do that.
Yeah.
It did remind me how terrible the interface for downloading your purchases are on this, though. So when you go, I don't know if you remember. Here, I'll just go in, and as I describe it, you can have a look. So I'm going to go open the store here.
Yeah.
Lovely. And that button down there, that's going to show me my download list. Now, this is going to list all the games I own. Lovely. Great feature, right? I might have timed out. I'll just restart the thing. We got to time this right so you get reactions while I say the words. PlayStation Store. Ding! I assume it makes that noise. There's no audio turned on. Please wait. Joining the PlayStation Store. Hello, Paul. It's been 3 hours since you last came on here and downloaded 70 games. Would you like to download the rest of your 70 games? Yes. Download list. Okay. There's being nice and fast as it is. Okay, so this lists all of my games in order of them being activated on my account. Very useful order to have. Now, you might also notice that a lot of these games cannot be downloaded on the system because this is also all the PS3 games.
It's just every game on your account.
Yeah.
And there's no filter option in there.
No. Also, all the games that you can download just have download next to them. That doesn't change if you've already downloaded it.
Oh, dear.
So
do you have a spreadsheet?
I do. It's actually open on the Excel on that other monitor. It's sitting there right now. And from my list, you can see that I'm scrolling.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm scrolling. I'm still scrolling. Scrolling. Anyway, it's going to take a while to scroll. Now, when you say download, it goes back to the top of the list. You know what was better? I just loaded up the store.
Yeah.
The list of every single game released in the Vita, and I just went through. It's like, do I own that one? Do I own that one?
It's bad
do
when
I own that
quicker.
one? Because that didn't reset when I said download again.
Yeah.
Oh, I just found the game that I was thinking about before. I was going to say, hey James, do you remember there was that Monster Hunter style game where there was an evil book?
Oh yeah,
Soul Sacrifice.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool.
It was literally the game that just did. I'm pushing the download button now.
You ever wanted proof for in a simulation? There it is.
There we go. And see, so now as you see, it's downloading and now it's at the top of the list again.
Yep.
Thank you, PS Vita, you wonderful handheld and piece of shit store. Yeah, great. At a certain point, I did go, will this just be faster for me to just pirate all the games I own?
Probably.
Maybe. But I haven't pirated on it yet. I don't really want to. Although, there is a homebrew browser there. It's just like, I can play Quake on this. I'll play the first level and never touch it again. Like I do every time I see Quake is available on a new system.
It has made me kind of worried about other Nintendo platforms. And
Nintendo, you should definitely be worried about.
Well, at least with the 3DS, because I own a fair bit of digital stuff on there, I at least got myself I formatted a 256 gigabyte card to run in it, because they're not meant to, but you can basically formatted as FAT32 and get it running. So I could just go get everything. Like, because I know at some
remember
point
doing a similar thing.
At some point, Nintendo is just going to flick that switch,
turn it off.
and that's it.
Because I was surprised when Sony was turning it off, but then when they're like, "Oh no, the downloads will still be available. You just can't make new purchases." I'm like, okay, I'm kind of fine with that. It's a bit shitty for like a kid that finds a PSP Go at like a garage sale, like, "Oh, I'll take this home and play some games." Yeah. What the fuck?
I mean, it does suck for archiving.
Yeah, but also the thing that we briefly mentioned there, what I keep saying, maybe it would be easy to just pirate. The PSP Vita especially, very easy to mod and pirate on game. Most Nintendo consoles, very easy to mod.
I mean, the Vita's like right up there with the original like iPhone jailbreaks. Like, just go to a website and it just does it.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much, yeah. The difficult thing with mine
on the browser
is I needed to do more advanced hacking to downgrade my Vita to the right level, at which point, yes, you just go to a website and say, do it for me, please.
I'm pretty sure my PSP I've already hacked.
I think I remember you doing
because there was like, I think they had a GTA buffer
if I got a new battery for mine, it is a release launch PSP sitting on version 1.0.
Oh, okay, so you're good.
What I liked was that
fantastic.
When I went to the homebrew browser, one of the popular games was GTA Chinatown Wars. I'm like, what? Like, because this was like a release project. This wasn't a pirated thing. Right? I mean, it has pirated material in it. Don't get me wrong. I do understand that, but it was like, this isn't just a ROM someone's put up. Someone's made this. Like, but why? This game's on the PS Vita. I own it. And I went down. It's like, no, it's a PSP release. People, the fan base, have made a port to PSP. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm like, ooh, I'm cool with that ethically.
Some good times playing like Vice City on the PSP with like the cheap menu active.
I remember when
basically
they were
like Game Sharked.
Do you remember when they were cheats?
On the PSP? So like it just brought up a little fucking menu on the screen. You could spawn stuff in and change the gravity and do all sorts of shit.
So many things.
I do remember when they like you had to memorize button sequences.
Yeah.
To spawn a tank or whatever.
And then they figured out you can make people pay money for those things.
Just pay for it and you're good to go.
Yeah. Now that I'm going through here and looking at like my thing list, there are, after me going through the list of every game, there's ones that weren't on that list.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, oh god, I have
to go through it.
Yeah, it has all the DLC.
I think also the people who were actually capable of making like the Game Sharky type things, once multiplayer became a big thing.
Oh yeah,
they shifted to hacks.
That's true.
Which makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
I had review code for a game called Smart As. This game's called The Hungry Horde. Never even heard of that. Oh shit! I just need to start recording this on my own. Oh, Monster Bag! I remember Monster Bag. Oh, these are all good games. This is now
the Paul's Nostalgia for Vita show.
Half Minute Hero is really good on that.
Yes, it is. That's correct.
Fact.
It's a great handheld.
The Vita is one of the best handhelds of all time. Only surpassed by the Vita 2 that Nintendo made.
Switch. Yeah. So I guess this sets a precedent for how
basically you get to
going to do this in the future. Is it
when you get to the end of a generation, mod your hardware and download everything to it.
Immediately mod it.
Because like I'd like to think with the Switch that this will be the new thing will just be like all these purchases will just carry forward.
It's Nintendo,
but it's Nintendo.
No guarantee.
The second they do something that has a different looking eShop.
Yeah. Well, it's until they decide to do some batshit crazy shit again, which it just makes no sense to.
So we'll get our second iteration of the Switch, and then we'll get our batshit insane idea.
Yeah, because that's how they work.
It's 2 cycles.
I am buying a Switch Pro, and that day, my original Switch becomes my homebrew Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
And I see what it can do.
Yeah. There'll be an option to transfer to the new one, like you can with the 3DS, where it's just going to take all of your identifying detail, move it to the next one.
Yep, in a real dumb way. Maybe there'll be a cool animation, I guess.
And it'll take about 3 hours to do it.
If we're lucky. Oh, God. When I had to back up the internal memory in this to my computer, I had to do it over wireless for some reason. Even though it's a USB connection, you can't see that folder. So I'm like, okay, I had to use an FTP server to get through. And it took 10 fucking hours.
Yes.
Like, why is this connection so bad? Anyway, it's only 29 gig. It's like, anyway. Okay, so that's my Vita story. Now, the other story that I skipped here, which we'll talk a little bit more about, was a cool thing that we mentioned earlier today when we said it was an April Fool's joke, and I didn't think it was, and we still never really got a clarified thing. That is that there is a Metroid Prime 2D fan project that's been 15 years in the making, apparently, and they've released a demo. And my theory is they announced this and released the demo because they want to stop working on it and they want Nintendo to send them a cease and desist.
We're done.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board.
Please cancel this project.
That's what's happened.
Oh yeah, finishing this project like this is really hard, but what they've done is made something that's fucking cool.
Yeah, like for them to make the rest of the game to the quality and bar they've set for this demo, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
And if they've been doing it for 15 years already,
it
might take a while.
Because I think it's about 2 areas, I think.
I haven't finished it, so I'm not sure. But it is. It's a when you first look at it, it looks like a Super Metroid inspired game, a little bit higher res. And then pretty much I immediately get sold on it because I think I had a gamepad plugged in and didn't do anything. I'm like, oh, what? I'll just grab the mouse. Oh, I've got free aim on the mouse.
It's more like something like Abuse or...
Yeah.
Like that surprised me. Like I thought it was going to be very traditional Metroid controls, but no.
It feels so good. Yeah. And it moves so well. It's both like respectful to like the movement of the original series, but it feels smoother and everything's so like they've structured it, I thought it was just really nice, like most platformers. Every single platformer ever made, it's like, okay, so run right. So, of course, everyone that's ever played a platformer goes, well, the first thing I do is run left. And you run left, and I get to a point, and the game just says to me, it's like, you're out of exploration options. You should probably go the other direction. I'm like, yeah, thanks for telling me I shouldn't just bang my head against this wall for 5 minutes. Thanks. But yeah, it looks really good. The shooting feels really good. It looks nice. It's Metroid Prime, you get the scan visor out, you scan and everything. I'm going like... Okay, I don't know about you, James, when you played Prime games. How often did you read the things you scanned?
Not often.
Yeah, me neither. I just need my list complete.
Oh, I need to collect them. I need the percentage to go up.
Yeah. That's all I care about. It's like, I need my codex filled. I don't care what's in the codex. I just need the number.
Yeah. It's quite faithful to the formula.
Yeah.
Like going from room to room will respawn and that kind of stuff. It's like, it feels like...
And faithful to Prime.
Yeah, faithful to Prime. Like, I recognize areas, I recognize the characters.
What I was is like, it starts something like...
the monsters.
This isn't Prime? Prime doesn't start like this. And then I like went a few more screens and I'm like, oh, I remember this bit.
Yeah.
It's like, I was just thinking of the wrong thing. Here we go.
I guess what it didn't have was the tutorial area.
Yeah.
So, fair enough, I guess. So it would have been, that was still a pretty big part of the storytelling and all that kind of stuff.
But it's just, I mean, this is a demo of
it was just a bit strange. It's like, heading towards the tutorial area, and then Ridley just like jumps out. Like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're skipping that part.
We're not doing that.
That was probably a really good like vertical slice. But I guess if they'd gone for that, because I think you had all your abilities. I think at the beginning of Prime, didn't you?
Go back and play.
Yeah.
Man, you can never explain Nintendo, but why don't they just release the trilogy?
Yeah, because after playing Prime, I did like the 2D one.
But we missed the window.
Yeah, I started getting the edge. But I guess like the way I want to play it is with a GameCube controller, and I think the only way I got a Wii. I got a Wii kicking around somewhere, and that'll play GameCube games.
I mean,
I could play it.
They could just add GameCube support to
the trilogy. Just for me to play it. Like, if I wanted to play it tonight, I think I do have the option. Oh, you mean
if right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got...
You can use a Wii.
Yeah. Well, if you want to play 3, you've got to play it on Wii.
Yeah. Because I still prefer the original GameCube controls to the Wiimote. The Wiimote did kind of grow on me a bit, but I still like that.
I like the new play options with the Wiimote. This is just like Red Steel. Yay!
Red Steel 2 was pretty good.
Yeah.
The first one,
not so much. Man, I was so sold that game was going to be amazing. So, some of the things we believed about the Wii before it released, I was a fool. But that's all right. I've been foolish about a lot of things. Okay. Any other thoughts about Metroid Prime 2D? You go download it while you still can.
Yeah, and even when it disappears, it'll still be kicking around. Yeah, it's released now. Like you'll find it.
Okay. I guess I mentioned it before. I've played a little bit of Soulstorm.
Mm-hmm.
So Soulstorm is kind of a remake of Abe's Exodus, but not really. It's a sequel to the remake of the first game. So
Okay.
so it's like, yes, it's the sequel to the game that you've already remade, but it's not really a remake of its sequel because Exodus was just kind of like, oh no, more Abes.
Yeah. It was, we added more of them. Saved their asses.
Majorly presentation. It's a very nice looking game. The levels I heard someone compare it to the Trials games where it's like, it goes around corners and stuff as you move along. It does. Good sense of scale to everything. What's funny about it is that it's a goddamn Odyssey game. Abe's Odyssey game in that it still pretty much moves exactly the same, and that's for better or worse.
Well, how much new and tasty did you play?
Not very much.
Okay.
I didn't care much about it before.
Because I'm interested in knowing whether it compares to the originals or whether it compares to new and tasty.
Yeah,
there were some differences.
I think it's probably smoother than the originals. It's not quite basically moving on a grid, Prince of Persia style.
Yeah.
But it isn't a fully smooth platformer either. It does feel like that older style of platformer where it is a little bit chunky in its movement and it's very deliberate. It's like, yep, if you're a split second late on that edge, you just fall off the edge because we don't have no safety net there for you. No secret ledge that just lets you jump anyway.
No, you got to let him run a little bit over. This is platforming sequence.
Coyote time?
Yeah. You need to have just the tiniest bit.
Yeah. That's what people like.
Yeah.
And other than that, so they've got mechanics. Basically, there's a lot of fire propagation in the game. So it's like, we need to get through this, and the way through it is to burn it. So we're going to start a fire here, and that's going to burn it, and then I can throw some water on it to put out the fire so I don't get burnt to death. Saving all your fellow Moodikins, yeah. I find it funny. The cutscenes are very nicely produced. They spent some money on them. There's good models. There's good animation. But because the script is mostly about really stupid people, it get there's this. It's like the end of the first level, and this character's been looking for you, and they're dying, and it's like, Abe, I found you. It's like, hello. It's like you need to save us. It's like, I can't save you. It's like, yes, you can, Abe. But what can I do? You can save us, but I can't save you. It's just like that conversation back and forth for 2 minutes. I'm like, they actually don't say anything. They just keep repeating.
Hello. Follow me.
They're
Okay.
they're just doing that. I'm like, this is not.
That's just how they talk, right?
For this dying character, it's not a great send off. It's like, here, you do this. It's like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. Is your game.
So this one, it's free on PlayStation Plus.
It's free on PlayStation
but
Plus.
But only for PS5?
Yeah, only PS5.
And so, because I assume this is out on PS4 as well? Or is it PS5 exclusive?
I'm not sure. Let's check.
I don't know.
I know it's on PC.
It's on PC as well, is it?
On Epic.
Yeah, because it seems like it's a bit
Epic
rude.
Exclusive.
It seems a bit rude if it's on PlayStation 4, but they're only giving it away free on...
Didn't get a PS5?
No,
Too bad.
it's on PS4 too.
Okay, so it is a bit rude. They're just only giving it away.
If you didn't get a PS5...
Oh, so all these people that really want a PS5.
But that's like they do with Bug Snacks and everything. It's pretty good. But the weird thing was in this month's PS Plus, one of the games that was on there was Days Gone. And you're like,
which is already free.
What are you
talking about? I'm like, it's literally, if you're on PS Plus, it's in a collection you get for free. And then someone points out to me, no, only PS5 people get that collection. I'm like, oh God. Hey,
they got
Sony,
away with it. They got away with it.
Stop being weird.
Don't segregate your own player base.
Microsoft has your exclusive game on their pass system at launch. Stop it. Stop making me not want to buy your things. I'm happy when they're free. But yeah. Certainly, God, Game Pass gets me so much. I'm just like, I'm not in the market for another console. I don't need another console, but I kind of imagine by the end, maybe in a few years or anything, I'll just get a bloody Xbox as well.
Yeah. Well, whatever there's the next intermediate one is maybe.
Because it's PS4, PlayStation's I'm going to have the PlayStation just for the exclusives, but everything else, it's like, That, man, imagine if Switch had had Game Pass on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
I was like, did you guys know that there's more games on Game Pass? Paul, you don't have to play through every game, but it's on the Switch.
There's more of them.
I hate this game. I'll complete it, though. It's good. Anyway, so yeah, Soulstorm. I didn't have a lot of strong thoughts on it because I've only played sort of the very beginning of it, like, I don't know, 40 minutes, an hour of it or so. It's well produced. As I said, it is still quite old school. You know, it's a lot of stealth, getting past, you know, once you're past the initial running level, it's just like, puzzles, don't get the guys killed. Yeah, it's solid, but the production value of it certainly makes it feel bigger than normal. But yeah, you guys play it, I'll play it some more, and maybe we'll have more to say.
Check it out this weekend.
But speaking of Switch games that should have been on Game Pass, you guys seen Good Job?
Yes.
No.
Have you played Good Job?
No.
Oh, so I saw Good Job when it first came out. It was just a little bit expensive for me. I'm like, I'll put it on my wish list. Went on sale. Paul, I'm going to get this Good Job. So it looks kind of like a safety diagram video or something. Little stick man in a factory.
Is it sort of like a Portal safety video?
Yeah. That kind of look. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah, and I hadn't really seen how it played. I'm just like, let's just give it a shot. Let's just find out. So it's basically a physics-based game where you have to do good jobs. And they'll say, oh, you're in the office. We need the projector plugged in. I'm like, okay. Basically, you get the projector and you wheel it into that office and you plug it in. That's basically what you're doing.
And then does it say good job?
A few things. It does say good job when you're done. And then you get ranked on the speed and the amount of destruction you cause. And very quickly you start going like the fun things. So, as I said, you have to plug things in. So one of the things the game has is power cables. So you have to pull it out of an outlet, plug a thing into it. Fine. Those then become bungee straps. So you can slingshot things across it's like, return 25 workers to the work area. It's like, if I put 4 of them on this one chair and just launch them across the room with this power cable, that works. And they're just like nice little toys.
Yeah.
And I was moving, there's a forklift, so there's vehicles. Get in a forklift, I'm like taking this crate over. It's like, you can lift it over this barricade in the middle because it can't fit through it. You can drive through it, but it can't. But even if that wall wasn't there, I could just drive through the wall. Smash through it. And it like runs really smoothly. It's great. I think there's a co-op mode. I haven't tried it yet, but it's just one of those things. It's clean. And when I started playing it, I was like trying to do the best job. I was like, I'll do it fast and I won't cause any mischief.
That's not how
long did that last?
Not long, because the mischief is fun. And I'm like,
and you get points for the mischief, right?
No, you do lose points for it, but they're not super serious about it.
Because that seems like it's pushing you away from the mischief.
Yeah. So to be great at the game, you would do it all perfectly and not damage anything. Yeah. And there's a skill to that, but the game also doesn't say
you failed.
That's the only way to play.
It doesn't say bad job.
Yeah.
It just says good job.
Like I think I had like an A on speed and like a D on damage or whatever cause, and it still like gave me an A overall. Yeah. It was like, it was a very good A. I can't remember what the third thing you get. Oh yeah. There's what is it? Like maybe it's the structure, maybe it's a monetary value of what you've done, because there's some things that are very specifically expensive.
Oh, okay.
It's like don't smash those, or maybe launch them across the room. Who cares? It's just like great theming, runs really well. I would like to try the co-op because I just think it would be racing forklifts and like screwing people up. I quite liked I'm walking along girders trying to get to something. I'm like, because it's isometric and top down isometric, walking along a thin thing. I'm like,
it gets a bit weird.
It can be a bit, and then I pushed against the edge on purpose. I might just try to say, oh no, it just
doesn't. It
just says no, you don't fall off. You go down the stairs if you want, and there's like if you go over like a safety barricade or whatever you go, but the game's not. It's not about being cruel to the player. There's enough crazy physics going on to be then like throwing you around and making it hard to control. It is it just plays really well. Good job. Good job making good job.
Good job.
Yeah, I liked it. Okay, what else have we got? James, you've been having some Apple Arcade fun.
Yeah, so there was a big Apple Arcade announcement recently. And it's been interesting to see what the next play of Apple Arcade is, because the original plan was to let's have 100 games and everyone go subscribe, and then no one really cared, and it's largely unknown.
Even developers that I know that release games on it don't say anything.
Yeah. Yes. No, they don't. There's things that need to be signed. But so they've now had like almost like a second launch of it. Because so the big thing here is that they've got a bunch of original titles still. And I'll get to them in a second. But they've also gotten like the best ofs. So things like Cut the Rope and Fruit Ninja and things like that.
What I like, so I got myself a new subscription, and I'm like, okay, so I want this new game, this new game, this new game, this new game. Oh, Cut the Rope!
Yeah,
I love Cut the Rope.
And I can
Straight into that brain.
Yeah, and so what I imagine is happening is that this basically feels like a giant A/B test, where Apple is looking at like, all right, here's the stuff,
want the new stuff,
or the old stuff, and
or do people want the classics?
And I'm pretty sure that classics one is the one that everyone's downloading.
Do we want this clever new indie title, or do we want to play Fruit Ninja?
Yeah, but it's very nice, this idea of like, you know, these versions of the classic games which, you know, don't have any free to play stuff in it. Like they're not predatory. It's just like, here's a good version of Fruit Ninja. Like just take it.
Like, other than the whole $1 app thing, sort of putting.
Well, the $1 app ruined it.
Potentially ruining games for the entire generation. I
don't know if it's a potentially. I think it's pretty much what happened.
Well, certainly on mobile
the $1 game,
inarguably, but it has certainly devalued games now.
Yeah.
Other than that, those first games that came out, the ones that were big, were just genuinely good games.
Yeah, because that's when you could make a good game.
Yeah. And yeah, there's enough people that were buying games that $1 was still potentially
fine.
making some money.
Some money.
And you could do a good game, and some company somewhere didn't immediately make a clone of it with far more marketing budget.
Those are really the good days. I miss those days of mobile. They were fun. So anyway, they've got this classic stuff, which is great. But they also put on a bunch of new original titles out there. So the ones I checked out was Oregon Trail.
Which, I mean, new original title.
Well, it's probably not the one to open with.
Brand new game, never before seen.
The reboot of Oregon Trail.
Oregano Trial.
A Platinum's game, World of Demons. What else did I put in there that I played? Star Trek Legends.
Fantasia, but isn't it called something like Fantasia?
I think it's Fantasia. I think it's got like a really... Cause I think it's like Fant in Asia. Like it's... You can quickly look it up. Which is Miss Walker's Final Fantasy pedigree game. So anyway,
I just sat on my balls.
I played a bit of each of these. First off, like the standout one has been Oregon Trail, which I've never played. Fantasian, is it?
Yeah,
there's an N at the end.
It's Fantastic Asians, I guess.
So I don't have any like nostalgia for Oregon Trail because I just never played it. So going into it, I'm like, we'll just see. I mean, it kind of feels like one of the first roguelikes.
I was about to say,
that's
is it
kind
the
of
OG roguelike?
Yeah,
because it is a resource management roguelike.
Yeah, it's so like the basic premise of it is.
Dysentery.
The premise of it is you're playing settlers that are trying to get basically to the West Coast. I don't know American
east to
geography.
west.
Yeah, and you go from leg to leg to leg of the journey, and random things can happen on the way. You got like four settlers, and they have different skills, and you come across people who'll be like, like I don't know, you go hunt some deer or something like that, and then but then maybe you're walking, someone will break the leg, and it's like, all right, what do you do? Or you run into a doctor, it's like, well, I can heal you, but I can pay. You got to pay for it. But then you can plead for like poverty and things. Like this is little things, little encounters you have along the way. The first thing that struck me about it was it looks goddamn amazing. It's kind of got like this pixel aesthetic, but laid over the top is just like super polished, super sleek, like gorgeous color palette. They've kept like the low frame animation, so it still looks like an old game. The way things move, the way they're animated, I'm pretty sure they've just gotten like the old sprites and what their animation sheets were, and just drawn over the top of them to make them look amazing.
Monkey Island style.
Yeah, but good. So yeah, aesthetically, but it's also just like it is a great mobile game to play. Like it's like. The session lengths are just right. Like the little stories you get are just right. Like playing through one run, and it's like I meet like this person saying that he's like keep an eye out for his beloved, and then later on I see her and I have the choice to tell her about this other guy's waiting for him, and then further on I meet the father who doesn't want her to go meet. Like just like little stories that kind of come out of it. Yeah, really enjoyed it so far. Just like it kind of almost ticks like the like Kingdoms itch for me. Like just like this kind of real chill. It's not quite as chill as Kingdoms. But yeah, it's also educational. I've learnt what chalking a wagon is.
Interestingly, so I've just started up the game for the first time here.
Yeah.
The first thing in creating the new game in the beloved The Oregon Trail series, we were determined to better depict Native and American perspectives.
Yeah.
Because that was the one thing. That was the one thing I was thinking about. It's like, because it's not like it wasn't the worst offender ever, but it was still an offender.
It was very whitewashed.
Yeah.
Actually, also this is made by an Australian team. Well, it's actually Gameloft Brisbane, which kind of like it's odd that an Australian team
very strange
made like an American-centric history educational game.
How do you take a screenshot on an iPad?
Power button and lock button.
Every time I've tried, all it's done is turn my iPad off.
There you go.
It's very
Yay! Because I'll use that later.
Yeah,
I'm sure I could look it up, but hey, now I've got a screenshot.
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
it does look very
it's
pretty.
really pretty. So it's also got it's very robust that's there. Like it's got like the Oregon Trail. But then there's like other like treks you could do. It'll be like here's through winter, like there's weekly challenges. Like it's a very feature rich kind of thing.
Can you take the Donner Party out?
Which one?
The Donner Party?
Donner Party.
You don't know the Donner Party?
No.
Well, we usually need to watch some more cannibal stuff.
Okay. I was going to say chalking the wagon. So that's when you need to ford a river, cross a river. And one of the options is to basically turn your caravan into a boat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you like take off the wheels and like chalk it.
Yeah.
And then it's like the risk of
floated
like...
across.
Yeah. So the first time I did it, the boat just fell over. Yeah. I got washed down, lost all my supplies, and like everyone was like dirty and unhappy. And yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's one of the best games I played in arcade. Like it's just... it's really good. I kind of want more stuff like this. But this is where we're going to find out, like, is this what's holding their attention of people, or is the classics holding it?
It turns out the only new game people downloaded was an old game.
The old game. Yeah. So other one I checked out was Platinum's new one,
World of Demons.
World of Demons, which I was very cynical of at first, of like making any sense playing with touch controls. It does.
You keep talking. We're playing Oregon Trail.
You don't have pass and play of Oregon Trail?
Should we treat the fever or mend the leg?
I gotta treat the fever.
Yeah.
Fuck the leg. Fever's bad.
Yeah. So Platinum touchscreen controls actually okay. I think that they've slowed down a lot of the telegraphs, so it just works a bit better. But I still kind of just want to hook up a controller and play it.
It's a Platinum game.
It's a Platinum game, yeah.
That looks exactly like a Kami.
It's also got this kind of cool rock paper scissors system. So you equip like demons as your abilities, and they'll have a like an element like fire or water. Or I think there's like 5 things in total. And then as you kill things, they will drop their souls.
Yeah.
And so then you pick them up in like this temporary like queue of abilities, and if they match the color of the ones you have equipped, they like power them up. So it's like you fight things. It's weak to fire, so I might want to cycle through
Bit
something.
of strategy in there.
Yeah, it's sort of a bit arena based.
Is it still Oregon Trail or?
But yeah, it controlled better. Like it's got a good lock on system, and it was okay. Like it was, but I think long term I'd prefer to play it with a controller. I really wish that Apple would have a good Apple TV.
Yeah.
Let me play these things at 60 or 4K. I think they do 4K. More let me play these things at 60 that actually look good. The other one I checked out was Star Trek Legends, and I really like Star Trek, so I was very disappointed to find out that so it's like a gacha mobile game style thing, but with all the mobileness ripped out. There was no Enterprise in there. There was no Star Trek Enterprise. There's no Captain Archer.
Is it a Star Trek game then?
Yeah.
Can you really call it a Star Trek
because
game?
I watched so much Star Trek Enterprise, I like to get real snooty.
Where the fuck is it?
About the Forgotten Trek. Because I like those guys. They're off. They don't have no prime directive. There's no Federation to tell them what to do. They're figuring this shit out.
Just doing their shit.
Yeah. No more. Don't forget Enterprise. But the Star Trek Legends it's a weird one because it's what happens when you take a gacha game and you pull out the predatory stuff, what's left? It's not really a game I want to play that much because like I think that those games are often just like wrappers around predatory mechanics.
It's all about the gacha.
But if you're someone who likes those kind of like turn-based gacha games where you can build your fantasy crew, the premise they go is like, you remember the ribbon from Generations, the Star Trek Generations? That's their excuse. So the ribbon appears and everyone sees it in all the different timelines, and that's how they get everyone into the one universe.
I like how they've gone to the effort of explaining it.
Oh no, I appreciate it.
Nice.
Like no, like cause that is something.
It's not just we just threw everything in here. We're good to go.
That is something which kind of turns me away from things like the Star Wars ones, where it's like it makes no sense for these things. At least with Star Trek, they can throw in some sci-fi. You throw in Q. You go, look, we need a way to make Picard and Archer be in the same universe. We just go Q or Space Ribbon.
I got double S in the
Oh,
tutorial.
because you don't take any damage in the tutorial, so that kind of helps you keep.
So you got double S.
I didn't take any damage because I'm awesome, James. Double S.
But I thought the Star Trek one was an interesting move because if you're the kind of if you're a mobile player, you're going to feel very familiar with that genre, and so it could be appealing, the idea of playing one of these things without the predatory bullshit. And the last one I checked out was Fantasia, which was like the Final Fantasy pedigree.
I can't load that one up. It's not downloaded yet. Let's have a look if it's downloaded now.
That one's got an interesting aesthetic because they've actually built small dioramas and used them to kind of build out the levels. I've only played a little bit of it. It's the one which I'm kind of hoping just comes to Switch. Like I don't know what level exclusivity that these things have because quite often arcade games are only timed exclusive on. Yeah. Like, and then eventually they come out. Like, there's some like which I think like Beyond a Steel Sky. Like that one's on everything now. I didn't mind it. The combat reminded me a little bit of Chrono Trigger, where it's kind of positional. So it's like you kind of like aim the direction you want to use your ability, and there's a line up to kind of do more damage to particular things. It's okay.
I was just remembering, wasn't it last year that Platinum was like teasing that they wanted to make a new Okami? Oh. And now they've released a game with the exact same art style. Yeah. It's good. It was fun. It's double S good.
Like I don't know if this one's going to make its way to other platforms.
I hope it does, because man, that would be much better with a controller.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can still with a, you can hook up a controller to an iPad and you can play it on an Apple TV and all that kind of
extra
stuff.
Steps.
How do I hold the iPad in my controller?
That's the problem.
You gotta buy one of those things.
Yeah, you want to buy one of the clamp things to
clamp.
Yeah, to basically turn it into
the
a
Moga controller.
Yeah, and then you're holding a tiny controller of an iPad on it, so it's tilting backwards.
I've tried to like those ones where you have like the mount to put the phone on top of it. No, it really makes you appreciate weight distribution of controllers. That thing.
Yeah, there's a reason we do it like we do.
Yeah.
I feel like those mounts need to come with a weight that clips to the bottom.
They need something to lower the center of gravity. That would feel a lot better.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah.
We have
the one game on my list.
Yeah, let's talk about...
Before we get to it, I don't know if it's an Apple Arcade game, but I would like to recommend, because I found out it's on mobile, and I played it on PC, Tiny Room Stories. It's a little puzzle adventure game.
Okay.
And it's very good. Nice little and it's like lots of tiny rooms is the whole premise.
Oh, I've seen this.
You rotate the world at 90-degree angles to see the different sides.
This is exactly the kind of game I like.
I think this sounds like a poll thing.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It's very well made. Some of the puzzles are really good.
Okay.
Like, they're not like...
I assume
they're
it's
not
on...
super difficult, but they're not also they're not super obtuse.
So,
I assume
Tiny Room Stories Town Mystery.
I assume it's on iOS as well.
It's on Switch, Android, Windows, Mac.
Not iOS.
Yeah, no iOS.
I thought it was on iOS.
That's an odd choice.
Yeah. Well, in that case, play it on anything but Apple Arcade, I guess. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. Oh, iPhone's got enough exclusives now, apparently.
I thought of it because of arcade, but because I was looking at it on PC and then I noticed it was on Android.
Yeah.
And it was much, much cheaper on Android.
And probably better for that kind of thing.
Potentially, yeah.
Wait a minute. When did this come out?
Paul, do you already own this?
I don't know how new or old it might be, but it is very good.
No, because it looks like a game that I tried during one of the Steam festivals and didn't like.
Oh.
It could have been. Can't say anything.
I thought it was very good. So there's that.
There was a lot of poking just to find the thing to do the next thing, and not a lot of playing. Let's see.
It does have quite a bit of looking around for things.
Well, it doesn't start the same in the game. I think about it. It might be
puzzles.
something else. I like a puzzle. I got, and
There's some good puzzles.
I love
in there.
toy box things. I love things that poke in. Give me some G-Nog. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now that we've stopped for
actual
that,
game on my list
yeah,
is the latest final last update for Binding of Isaac.
the latest final.
Well, yeah, because like the last 2 expansions have been the last ones, and now
Yeah.
this one's the actual
So
last
This
one.
one's definitely the last
As-
one.
as-
Definitely, I can confirm it's the last one
So
because it wraps up the lore.
As someone who has
Whenever someone says that, it's like, yeah,
It
but
wraps
it's all,
up the story.
yeah, but fiction.
Just make one story.
All fiction needs to do is say, "Oh, but then this happened," and then like, "Oh no, it's all changed."
And then
I did. What was there was a? Oh yeah, it was the Stan Lee quote. I linked to this
who
week.
would win in a fight
Yeah, it's
between
like, you know who
X
wins in
and
the
Y?
fight? The person I write wins. It's like everyone that asks these stupid questions about power, like there's an answer. It's who the writer was. It's always who the writer was. Shut up. Anyway, yes.
Perfect. So this is the next biggest expansion for Binding of Isaac, in which they looked at the fan-made expansion Anti-Birth and went, oh, everyone seems to like this, but it doesn't work with... Like, I think Anti-Birth only works on the base game. You can't use the other expansions with it. And they went, well, what if we take everything they've done and kind of redo a little bit of it and then add twice as much of our own stuff and make another expansion? That's what they did. And it's like playing an entirely new game again. Because Binding of Isaac, once you've played it enough, and once you've unlocked all the things, every run ends up different but the same, because you can generally win every run. You just break the game in a different way. Because you have everything, so chances are you're going to get the combination you need to just get to the end. There's now enough new things that, I mean, I've been playing it quite a bit, and I'm getting brand new stuff every time. There's lots of new synergies between items. There's like 2 or 3 new characters you can play as with brand new mechanics. Far too many new rooms and alternate floors that just you hit randomly. Bunch of new bosses. Like it is a full, like it's big.
Because I've
expansion.
never
It's a big
really
expansion.
played Isaac, any of them.
Yeah.
Is this the one I should play?
Well, you have to have all of them to play it, to have this one. The issue I have with it is that there is so much new stuff, but because of how it works progression-wise, most of the new stuff is like you have to get through all the rest of it. You have to unlock all the characters. You have to unlock the later floors.
Okay, so this is an
It's a
expansion.
progressive
This isn't
expansion.
Okay, because I was under the assumption it was a new
It's the next
like
DLC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just more and more shit.
It's
and the
way
thing is,
more.
so I don't think you'd probably need to start at this if you were going to give it another go, because the base game still has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I think it's actually probably.
Honestly,
especially in consoles, you probably can't get the base game. It's probably at least got the first expansion on there.
I think the one you buy on consoles is definitely... well, for Switch, is everything except Repentance.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And the thing is, the game is so much of like, walk into a room, there's 3 items there. Which of the 3 items do you want? It's like, well, I don't know what any of them fucking do. And you touch it.
It's very, like, obtuse.
Yeah. And you go, oh, look, I've just ruined my run. Oh, well, I guess I'll keep playing and see what this does. And there's a lot of experimenting and trying and stuff. So each run can be vastly different in that. But it is certainly something that... I mean, like, when you start Binding of Isaac, your runs are probably like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then...
Now they're 45
later
to
a few,
an hour.
Yeah. Because it's like, now I know how to play the game. And
I've
they're
done
consistently...
a couple that have taken 2
Yeah.
now. Because of how far you can get.
And it's one of those things that gives you the power difference can be... I remember one time when I got a certain combination of stuff and I was like, oh, well, I can beat all the bosses easily now. And I think I'll go into that boss room where they put every single boss in the game in the boss room and I wipe that out in 10 seconds. And I'm just like walking around as a tiny god. But because of where I was, I still wasn't at a point where I could get to the ending of the thing at that time.
Because
So,
it's progressive unlocks. It is very true to the road.
Because you basically get to the end and then it's like, oh, by the way, now there's an extra end.
When you first get it, you get to the end boss, and once you've done that 10 times, it unlocks the next 2 floors, and then there's another end boss. And once you've done that like 10 times, you then split path end bosses. And then once you've done those, you get another floor, and now there's more. And then there's alternate routes.
And there's so much experimentation
constant item unlocks, experimentation. A
So
lot
the
of
thing-
it is based around knowing what
and that's
items do
where
what.
getting this probably doesn't matter because you're still going to be experimenting with all the
You're
base
still
shit.
starting at
okay.
the start.
Yeah,
Yeah. The thing that Repentance has done is solve a lot of those issues with balance and with runs being shit. A lot of the very game-breaking, like absolute, like you get it and the game's not fun.
over,
you just win. You just push a button and win. That's been nerfed.
But I like getting that once in a while.
You can still break the game. It's just much harder to get to that point, especially if you're in a position like I am, where you have everything unlocked up until Repentance. Stuff like, there's an item that duplicates the pill or the card you're using as an active item.
Yeah.
That like uses whatever it is without using that pill or card, which you can use to break the game if you've got a thing that doubles everything in the room. Duplicates every pickup in the room, but you can keep using it, and it duplicates the batteries that recharge the item that lets you duplicate all the stuff. Just fucking load that 50 times, you've got everything. Every time you use it, it now costs one more room charge to charge it. Things like that. Like there's been a lot of balance changes. A lot of the really shit items have been brought up a bit to work a bit better, mostly through synergies, because every expansion has kind of gone. They've looked at combos of items that don't work together, where one will cancel out the other, and found out, like, hard coded in what should happen if you have both. And now they've done even more of that, and you can get some insane combinations now. That didn't work
instead
before,
of something
that
that
now work.
Instead of something that just made your run totally shit, now it might give you a special surprise.
Yeah. So like the biggest example I've got for you, Paul, that you might know some of the items. So Brimstone, which fires a big long laser that just goes the whole length of the room. It does a shit ton of damage. And then there's Mum's Knife, where you have a knife and you hold down the fire button, and it, depending on how long you hold it for, it flings a knife in a straight line and then returns to you. And then there's another item called Dr. Fetus, which means your shots are now shooting bombs. All three of them now work together. And what you have is a giant laser made out of knives that explode on contact. And it's just little things like that they've just added in. So now like every item kind of works with everything.
My one where I kill all the bosses in 10 seconds, that run was Brimstone, the big laser, but also it was remote controlled. So I could just make a fireball of lasers, and I could just move it around the screen independently of myself.
Just have a ball of laser.
Yeah, and I just stand in the corner and I just kill everyone else. It was a classic one.
The other thing that they've done, and I'm going to say this without spoiling any of the details, Edmund, a lot of his marketing before this came out was like, it's basically a whole new game. It's a whole new game inside Isaac. He wasn't lying. There is now a section of this game that is a side-scrolling shooter / Cuphead. like not like actual Cuphead, but it is a side-scrolling shooter. And like by the time you get to that point and you've got all your build-up that you've been playing a top-down room-based game, you still have all of that. It's just now side-on with enemies.
Sounds like cool.
A little bit of Flappy Bird of like dodging things on the ceiling and the floor.
So Repentance is currently out on PC,
yes,
but it's
coming
aimed
consoles
for
this
consoles third quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
not on Switch yet.
Not on Switch yet. No.
But it will be.
Yeah,
And it won't be on the Vita.
No,
The Vita is the one device that doesn't have the expansions
it
because it can't handle those synergies.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And also the store won't be there.
The feed is
And
the
the
greatest.
But that was
the
their
best
excuse
thing.
for the first expansions. It literally cannot handle some of the combinations. It just crashes.
I should go downstairs and play Dante's Inferno. Got to get my PS3 working again. Although maybe I've got it on Xbox as well. Man, what a good game that was.
Yeah, for being another expansion, and a lot of it is definitely like they have just taken items from that fan-made one and just put them in officially. I believe they have actually worked with.
I didn't realize that Afterbirth was a fan thing.
Anti-Birth.
Sorry, Anti-Birth. Okay.
Is a fan one. Afterbirth's the official.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes. Okay. Just because I mentioned it earlier, I was playing Paper Beast, that PSVR game. It's also on other platforms now, but it wasn't. It's Eric Asahi. What's his? The Prince of Persia guy.
That's Jordan Mechner. You're thinking...
the other dude.
The Another World guy?
Another World guy, that's the one. Who ended up making From Dust and all that as well.
Yeah.
And when you think about From Dust, it explains a lot about this game. Now, James, you have touched this, but it didn't have much of an impression on you.
No, didn't really get too into it.
So I started, and I knew that it was like this alien desert world, and there were like creatures made of paper. Great. So the game starts, and I'm immediately confused. Because it doesn't start on an alien world. It starts in like a future world where you're in a computer, and then it's like, do you want to
the opposite of paper?
do you want to do a fun Jap pop concert? Yes, I guess. So it starts with this like pop song and like 3D objects bouncing around, and you're flinging shit around at a party. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's sort of just like the in-game looting. And then you open up in this alien landscape, and the songs is playing on a little radio in front of you, and there's this giant beast towering above you who you sort of follow for a while, and it's one of those VR games that when I got into it, my response was wow. I was like, oh, this looks really good in 3D and in VR, and it feels like this big creature is responding, and it just looks cool as hell. And you follow around and everything, and it's like you're sort of getting a bit of a story about the ecosystem and the environment there, and like there's like a gazelle thing that's being attacked, and you can save it, and you get the Chivo. You don't have to; you let it get killed if you want.
But the Chivo, boy.
But
the Chivo.
At that point, like a worm sinkhole opens up. And you're like, sinkholes, raising and lowering of land. This is From Dust all over again. And so it continues, and I suppose it's broken into levels and such. It's quite linear. But the game is about looking at all these different creatures and how they function, and then using them in the environment to get through it and solve puzzles and everything. And sort of the best example is sort of the first puzzle creature you create in the second level, which is a worm. And one end eats matter, and the other end extrudes it. So, there is there is water flowing here, and I don't want it to flow because I want to walk down where the water is. So I'm going to make a dam by sticking this creature over there, making it eat part of the wall, and shit out a little dam here. I'm like, it's fucking cool. And they have like these synergies and interactions and everything, watching how all the creatures work in this environment, and a lot of it is about moving Earth around. And then certain ones will attack each other and stuff like that, like make light sources out of them. They have a very, very simple system, which is basically having kind of like half like the grabby things on the roof. They don't seem to get you, but what they do is grab any creature you're trying to take out of its area. It's like, you've made a nice barrier.
It's the portal shield.
It's like, oh no, you can't carry this to the next puzzle area. It'll break it. I'm only a little bit into it, but it's like, it's visually impressive. It's just a cool, it's like one of those games you sit and you observe and you go, oh, okay, I'll just play with it now. And you do some cool stuff. And a lot of it's raising and lowering Earth. It's like, you love this. You love From Dust, which was an okay game. Sure did stop a lot of rivers from flowing and then make them flow in that game.
And this one is free at the moment.
Yes, it's and we mean totally free. This is not being PS Plus. This is just free. You do need PSVR to play it though.
Yeah, but you might be able to attach it to your account, and then
if
you get PSVR down the line,
just add it now.
Yeah. It's interesting. I every Epic game comes out, I claim it, even if I already own it on
my
platform.
Epic library is getting real respectable.
But quite often I'll say to people, it's like, oh, this is a good one. You should go grab this one. And people go like, oh, yeah, I've been looking at it. I wonder if I should grab it or not. Because a lot of people seem to be sort of the opinion that they don't want to fill up their collection with things they're not actually going to play. And I'm like, but your number's going up.
That's not the point.
There's a search box to filter that shit.
Oh, I was like, I mean, I just thought it was interesting. Like, you could just decide later. Yeah. It's not gonna. So here was a weird opinion, and I'm not picking on this person. I just thought it was wild, so I just want to share it. Yeah. So I was at a party, and we were talking about Assassin's Creed, and they said, "Oh yeah, they really like Assassin's Creed, but they couldn't stand Unity because Unity was based in France, but everyone had an English accent." And I said, "Well, Ubisoft's a French company. I'm pretty sure you could switch it to French." He said, "No. I don't like reading subtitles. That takes me..." I'm making him sound angry here. He wasn't angry. So I don't like reading subtitles. It takes me out of it. but he wants people speaking English with a French accent.
Which is arguably worse.
Which is like...
that's...
I thought it was such an interesting arbitrary line to draw, because I'm very big on I hate the artifice of an accent. It's like...
Well, that was the thing with was it Valkyrie? How it was like all Germans, but they were all speaking English accents. But then what was the alternative? Was it to have a bunch of people do bad English, like bad German accents in English? I
love like the Death of Stalin, which is no one bothers putting on an accent. They just talk as they normally do.
What they need to do is they need to do the Hunt for the Red October thing, where they start speaking in Russian and the camera zooms in on the mouth. And it comes back out. Swaps as English and pulls back out again without an accent.
They do that in The Great as well. It's like she's looking at like how to speak Russian thing. And she's like, "Niet," and then from then on, it's all in English.
Establish the language and then forget about it.
I just thought it was interesting. It was like, okay, it's a very specific line to draw. It's like I'm turned off by both not being the accent, but also being the language.
Because I'm thinking like with
which one would take you out more, the subtitles or the English accent? Basically, you got to pick one.
Because the thing is, what I like about English accents, and because it's not totally universal, because not everyone, but English accents, because they're used so widely in media, they're very good at denoting class. Like, you know what class that person is because how they speak. Because we generally know. It works quite well with American stuff as well. Like, we know when somebody's like, is supposed to be a bumpkin and when someone's supposed to be upper class just by it is. If you're doing a French accent, I don't fucking know. I don't know what a bogan in France sounds like. I think.
And also, at what point does it kind of become a variant of blackface? Like, if you're there, sort of like putting on like culturally using like another stereotype on top of something. I don't know, like.
Because it's like, there's probably plenty of French people that can speak English with perfectly good English accents. Not typical French accents. Because accents are they're not a global, like, it's not like everyone in a country has the accent that people recognize as being from that country. I think there was a show me and Amy were watching some point last week. I can't remember what show it was. There's an Australian in it, doing an actual Australian accent, and my comment was like, I'm willing to bet literally no one knows that this dude's Australian.
Well, I mean,
because he's not doing the Australian accent.
I mean, I remember like when I first went to the US years and years ago, back when I actually went to I think like the second or third PAX in Seattle, I was very disappointed. I went in as like I think I was 23 or something, pretty young. And I thought I was going to go to this country and everyone's going to think my accent's so cool. There's Australian guys coming in. No, I had one guy ask, are you English? Was about the most I got. I did start ramping up a bit. I started saying cheers more. That was like my one thing. Like, I'm just going to try and inject that in to try and like, maybe that's the thing. That's how I'll recognize it. Cheers.
Like the American TV show Cheers.
That well-known Aussie slang. Cheers.
At least say Barbie or...
Mate.
Struth.
Struth would have really done it.
I made a taxi driver so angry when I first got to America because I did not tip him.
Well, his taxi company should pay him properly.
I got... But though I do wonder, taxi drivers in the US, if when they're seeing Australian, they're like, that guy's not... They're not tipping. I've taken enough of them to know.
But was it from the airport?
It was from the airport, yeah.
They should know to educate people.
It was from the airport.
They should tell you. Yeah. This should be the thing. Because the thing's hello, welcome to America. You need to tip me.
Yeah, here is 20%.
Everyone else.
If I do a shit job, you only give me 10%.
Well, it's like in Vietnam, you tip, but you don't tip in Japan. And it's like, I need to be told, like, where am I being...
I don't know the rules.
Yeah.
What are the rules of your culture?
And just like how to do things. Like sometimes it's like, do you do it discreetly? Do you make a video? It's like, honestly,
do I have to treat it like a bribe?
Sit me down and do it. Well, I mean, I remember when a friend went to Egypt and they like basically they got stopped on the tarmac and everyone had to pay a bribe.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's basically a tip.
Well, exactly. It's just like it's the don't shoot me tip, and
I'm willing to pay that tip.
I mean, I think it was a let me off the plane tip.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd shoot them, but I don't know. But it was like. But it wasn't just the thing that it's like, well, just educate me on it. If there is the get off the tarmac tax and I'm supposed to give it in a envelope, I will bring the envelope. I just need to know.
Yeah,
it's Yeah, I feel like America would just confuse me so much. I go like, okay, I'm just going to buy a Coke. And I walk up and go like,
sales tax.
The Coke's $1. I go up.
Oh,
I go,
no, sir.
I go, okay, I'll buy the Coke. And here's my $1. And they go, what are you doing? It's $1.35.
Yeah, and then
you go to a different state and it's not $1.35.
I'm like, why didn't you put that on the shelf? It's like sales tax, man. It's like, well, I'm Australian.
Yeah, we have sales tax.
We just
it's just there.
We just put it in the price.
It's the same.
Anyway,
it is a strange place.
Yeah, it is. What a wacky world we live in.
I think it'll be a long time until I go to the US again.
Yeah.
Probably.
Especially the state it's in.
Get an AstraZeneca next week, probably.
You are? Hey, congratulations. Hope you don't get a clot.
I was going to say, is that the one we're not supposed to be getting?
Yeah, it's still less chance than being struck by lightning.
Oh, yeah, it's real like it's not.
So it's like, I, as someone that's relatively high risk, I still would rather not die of COVID.
Yeah. If I could
more
get
than
it,
halfway
I'd
to
still
50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they give me the other one, great, but I'm not going to put it up a stink.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, if I die, I've died. You can have my amiibo.
All right.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Wait, amiibo, just one.
Just one.
You have to pick one.
Yeah, which, if you had to pick.
Oh, I don't know.
There's so many.
Yeah. It'd have to be an Animal Crossing one.
Oh, I guess.
Would it? No, it wouldn't.
Get a KK slider.
I don't know which one I'd take.
I like how we're all looking off screen. Yeah. Just get the one that's the least sticky.
That doesn't narrow it
So
down.
not the Bayonetta?
Oh, no, but Bayonetta's washed frequently. Anyway, okay, so other games. Should we...
I'll just briefly talk about Elite Dangerous Origins Alpha Phase 1. I
think you missed the actual word that it is, which is Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, Elite Dangerous Odyssey.
Yeah.
Alpha Phase. Anyway, that thing. I like Elite Dangerous a lot. So I went and actually paid the money so I could join the alpha because I'm going to buy this thing eventually anyway. So I thought, fuck it, I might as well. It's weird. So they're adding boots on the ground, so you can get out of your ship. You can't walk around your ship, which is what everyone wants, but they didn't do that part. And so it's got a shooter in it. So you can go to outposts and shoot things and have objectives and things like that.
How capable of a shooter is it?
It's fine. I did 2 missions. Both of them I died really quickly. So I died. I then respawned back on a station and then had to hire another shuttle to get back to the mission, which took about 15 minutes.
This is like
so
Valheim.
Don't die is the real tip
so
here.
they've got some... It's very early on, and people are raising this as a big problem because like the missions you can die very quickly, and the respawn penalty is extreme. Yeah. And they have said that they've deliberately, in this technical test, made it so things are fairly spaced apart. Because the thing with Elite is it's about distance. It's about space. So you can't fly your own ship in it yet. You can only get a taxi. And it's just basically you auto-flying to where you need to go. Apart from that, it's still Elite. You're in the same system. You fly there. And it can take a long time to get there. And there is nothing to do while you're in a taxi. There's an AI flying your ship. So you can look around a bit, but you literally just alt-tab and do something else.
How different is that to flying to a location in your own ship?
Very different. Because it's a bit like being in a literal taxi versus literally driving. Okay. Like, even though driving somewhere...
You can't just point
you're constantly making micro adjustments. Like, you're driving a vehicle. And that's what Elite does really well. It's like you're driving a vehicle. So that's how I will spend 4 or 5 hours space trucking. Yeah. And I'm just micro adjustments, flying something. So I think they want to keep the distance in because that's kind of what Elite is, but they need to find a way, probably better respawning. It's like maybe just respawn me like at the beginning of the mission, and maybe if I've got like a bunch of missions I haven't handed in yet, don't fail the lot of them because I'm dead. Like there's just some things. So I think they can fix it. But where it is at the moment, it's like there's problems. There's problems with it right now. But it's pretty cool, like walking around stations and things like that. Actually seeing the size of my ship, like of the ships, you can walk around them and things like that. But really, you want that. I want to walk on my ship. Like, let me...
Just like Star Citizen.
That's what they're missing. They need the Star Citizen get on my ship thing. That's a big part of the fantasy. And
that's the only part of the fantasy that really exists in Star Citizen.
That is the game in Star Citizen. But yeah, it's really early. It's like it is just like meant to be. Like this is phase 1 of like 4.
Beginning.
Yeah. So it's
I had a Squadron 42 update in my email today.
Oh really?
Let me
Was
see
it
if I can
delayed
pull that
again?
one up. No, this is what I love about their
I think
emails.
the beta was meant to be out this year. I think.
It's COVID.
Is it now a Nintendo game with 42 people?
Am I in the right account? No.
That would be. took me a second there to throw back. That was a deep dive back there, but I appreciated it.
So this is a secret for
sometimes
backers.
my brain works faster than it should, and sometimes it's stupid.
So what I love here, they do their updates, and I forget every time. I'm like, oh, it's just going to be like, we got a release date or something like that. No. Here are our updates. The various
It's a long
briefings.
email.
AI content. This is just the headings I'm going to read. AI features. AI tech.
Are none of these the same thing?
Animation. Art characters.
Is this in
Audio.
alphabetical order?
Cinematics. Engine. Features. Gameplay.
It is.
Gameplay story. Graphics and VFX programming. Level design. Narrative. QA.
It's an alphabetical order.
Tech animation. UI. VFX. So
they-
what I loved here was the QA.
Yeah.
So I'll just focus on that. It's one of the shorter ones, but I was also like, why would I need an update on QA as a backer? I guess they really want some transparency here. Cinematics continue to rely on QA for recordings of each level for review, and new features and content were tested for development teams. QA also began testing the AI side of the project. Why would anyone need to know this?
Look, is this the internal company update, and they've just sent it to everyone else as well?
I guess.
I think they
Like
emailed
this is
each
the internal
department.
newsletter.
I think James is right. They email each department and say, give us
What
an
do you
update.
have?
And it's just like, they're so overcompensating for everyone going like, you have no control of this project. They're like, no, look, everyone's working. Look, the AI programming people have done some AI programming.
That's exactly what it feels like. Someone has been busy.
Yeah.
Someone, like, I'm sure people are they're writing code, they're doing animations, like people are doing things. Just
I have no doubt.
It's just that the thing is not coalescing in any way, shape, or form.
I do not have any belief that Star Citizen is a scam, as some people say. What it is a train wreck.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're different things.
Yeah.
If it was a scam, they would have pulled the plug by now.
Yeah, they wouldn't keep
They've
making
made
new
their fucking
companies.
They've made the money. They cut and run.
We would have
They'd
just
be
got
on a fucking non-extradite country beach somewhere.
Yeah, all they needed to do was make release a space flight sim. Potentially the cheapest kind of 3D game you could make. It's like, we need a bunch of black and some hard ships. Like, you could throw that out in 6 months. It wouldn't be good, but it is like, we technically made a space shooter that does things, and we got Mark Hamill to stand there and say, go and shoot the big ship.
Well, they only nailed down their flight model, I think, last year.
It's like, this is what they should be prototyping before they even pitched it.
Yeah,
I think it's the ultimate example of too many chefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think what needs to happen to the project is basically what happened with Freelancer, because this is there's a lot of what's the word we're looking for, parallels to what happened with Freelancer, which was what's his name, Chris Roberts. When that project was a complete clusterfuck, it was off the rails. The guy just didn't know how to run the thing. Eventually, Microsoft came along, bought it, and then finished it.
We have project managers.
so I think Star
The one
Citizen,
thing that's missing. Where's the project manager in the email?
Star Citizen. The problem is Star Citizen now is worth so much.
It's too much to buy.
If Microsoft was to come along and buy it, why would they? It's too big. So I don't know. I think.
Well, what are they going to? Yeah, are they going to we'll pay $500 million for this one game,
which is
which has already probably sold most of its copies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but Paul,
not a
all
great
you have to do is
investment.
make a new ship and slap a price tag on it.
Yeah,
Everyone will want it.
We had a small conversation at work today where it's like, isn't it disgusting that they do that? I'm like, people that's stupid. It's like, are you blaming the person? I'm like, in this case,
The thing I often have to remind myself is that there's a lot of people out there with very different hobbies and a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And like, there are people that just don't spend money on anything else.
Yeah.
Well, just some people with so much money that they don't care about that amount of
as
money.
well. Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's once an exploitative thing, because we were talking about loot boxes earlier. Once it crosses a certain line, I do put that back on the consumer. It's like, yeah, I got magic beans.
If it's blatantly obvious,
I'll pay you. I've got fake magic beans. It's like, would you like some fake magic beans? They're $1 million. If someone buys fake magic beans for $1 million, then good on the person that sold fake magic beans.
I have a 28-digit hex code that links to an artwork. Would you like to pay $69 million for it? You would? Okay.
Did you say 69?
Yeah. Oh, that's the sex number. I'm going to buy it for
That's a funny number. It's like, I'm going to buy it for 420 million. Okay, so I think I'll do one more game before you end, because I haven't mentioned it. It's been a while now. Maquette, which came out on PlayStation and on PC, I think. It came out on PS Plus, and it's developed by it's distributed by Annapurna, who up until now have really knocked it out of the park for me in pretty much every project up until now. So Maquette is a real rip-off of A Fisherman's Tale, which is it's a game about recursion. So in A Fisherman's Tale, a very good game, you are a puppet and you are in a lighthouse. And inside that lighthouse there is a model of the lighthouse, and when you reach down and you take the roof off the lighthouse, you look in and there's a little fisherman holding the top roof of the lighthouse, and if you look up above you, a giant puppet has taken away off the roof of the life pack, and you can see yourself up there. So this is the same thing, except there is a model of the area you're in the middle of it, underneath a little dome is the Maquette, which is apparently French for model, apparently. And it's a series of levels that are solving some puzzles using this mechanic. You have a little thing, but you go and drop it in the model, and then you look outside to where you dropped it, and now it's a big thing in the world. You can go pick up the big version of it. So, it's also telling the story of a relationship. And they really put the money into it. So the woman is voiced by Bryce Dallas Howard, and her partner, who she has literally no chemistry at all, is her real husband. And I think the problem with the lack of chemistry isn't necessarily that they're bad actors. The script is just... It's like if Kevin Smith was writing something that was supposed to be like just dramatic and no funniness in it. It's just sophomoric, boring shit where no one says anything specific. We're just general quirky people that live in Portland. Haha, we're so in love, we both like drawing. Great. What do you do? It's like, I go to school. What does she study? What's she after? It's like, oh, that doesn't matter. Isn't it bad that we fight sometimes? Yeah, I guess. Oh, so it's about a relationship breaking up. And I've given you about the level of writing that's in it now. And it's really frustrating because I love the mechanics. Yeah. I love this world and everything. But each level is basically... There'll be sort of 4 structures around you, normally a house in 4 directions, and same in the model. Now, where do you go? Well, you go to the one that lets you walk into it. And then you go, okay, well, look for something I can't do and then solve it. And quite often the game will put up barriers to stop you solving it in ways it doesn't want you to. That said, there's still a bunch of ways that I try to think outside the box, and this is a game I've broken probably more than any other game because you can just fucking drop stuff places you can never get it back again. I'm like, okay. And when you reset, it takes you to the start of the level. It doesn't take you to the end of the last puzzle step or anything. So basically, what you're doing is trying to solve a thing that you don't know what it does to open up the next thing that you don't know what it's going to open up. So you're just sort of like blindly looking for like, that's... Okay, barrier's down there and there's a keyhole. I guess I need a key now. Why do I need to get in there? I don't know. Most of these things, while they loosely link to the relationship... It's like, oh, we went to a fair once, so there's a fair area. It's like, great. It doesn't really tell you anything. There's just a fair there. Oh, we go to the house. It's the house where we lived. Okay, but you're not doing anything in the house that has to do with the relationship. It's like an okay puzzle game. It's not terrible. It's okay. Just with a story just bolted to the top of it for no goddamn reason. And they've got all this really good like indie pop music in the game. And the way they utilize it is when a new chapter starts, they start the track playing. Why? I don't fucking know. Nothing's going on. And why does it stop? Well, often because you start another piece of audio playing and it's time for the track to stop then, I guess. And I'm just like, this is...
I really like the passion you're putting into this game has wronged you.
There's so much work that's been put into it. It looks really nice. It's got a great concept. It's like, but they did a bad thing. And near the end of it, in the last section, it actually starts delivering on the promise of this recursive thing. Because the thing, like Fisherman's Tale, which I was dropping before, a very good game. It's about 2 hours long, I think, if that. It's a very short VR experience, but it's very concise and knows what it's doing. But it can't expand very much on it because it really is just sort of like one small space. This is every level's a new space. It just has a Maquette in the middle. And it starts really delivering on like, okay, what if we started playing with this idea? And I'm going to spoil slightly here that. So if you really care about where I'm not going to destroy a puzzle, but just what the change is. The change in the last section of the game is that the Maquette itself becomes movable.
Okay.
So you could say, flip it upside down, in which you will flip the entire world around you upside down. And then like as these things interact, you start getting cool things. I was like, great. Something going to be some cool puzzles now. Nope. I got stuck on a puzzle for about 2 hours though because it bugged out. And I was pulling a switch and nothing was happening, but something was supposed to happen. Because I eventually looked up the solution on the internet and went, wait, a door's supposed to open when I pull that switch? Fuck, reload the level. Of course, there's no checkpointing, so I have to go back and do the whole level again. Yeah. But thankfully, it's pretty easy. Because it's cool in that bit because you can fast travel. Because you can pick up the model and put it next to the thing you want to go to, and then you just take one step out. So it's like really cool. It could be a thing, but it's so trite and try hard and pretentious. And I love arty-farty bullshit. You know I do. And it is just nothing is true about it. Nothing is interesting about it. And the puzzles are okay. They are okay for a game that's free on PS Plus. It's okay, but
so it's part of
so much potential and so much disappointment.
This was actually quite high on my anticipated game list.
I was the same, and I've seen it.
Is that what angers the blood? It's the potential.
Yes, that was doing that, and I don't necessarily feel that it was that much work to do a good version of this. I feel like they were so tied into the fact that they got a Hollywood actor and everything. They didn't think maybe we should get someone to punch the writing up. They didn't think that maybe there should be some meaningful environmental storytelling in this. There is some, but it's so nothing. Yeah, just like this was. We were
written
upset.
it in a silo, and they've taken keywords out of it to make into locations.
Yeah, like words appear in the world,
and
I say they will put in actual blocks to stop you solving puzzles the way they don't want you to solve them. Not that they wouldn't work. So they that's yeah, and that's the stuff they get. And actually, here's the other big thing. So recursion, great. So there's a little version, normal size version, then big version outside of that. At a certain point, you can get into the bigger size version. Problem with that, it's fucking massive.
Oh, so the time to...
So it's like, oh, well, I just need to run over to those stairs. And, those stairs are now about 500 meters away. Jesus. And you're just walking along an empty cobblestone space. Like, I get it. But then sometimes it's like, you didn't line something up properly, so you better walk back and change it and come back. And you're like, this is not fun. Yeah. You thought I was saying that Darq had a little bit of like back and forthing. You fuck up in this game, and it's like, you're going to spend just 4 minutes walking along a blank flat plane. Yeah. It's like, yeah. It really, really rubbed me the wrong way. It did have its highs. I did enjoy parts of it, but it's just trite bullshit on the whole. It really upset me.
I can tell.
Yeah.
That said, I do play the soundtrack on Portugal's Edge because it's a good soundtrack.
It's music from a video game.
Yeah. And it's like pop music, so it's easy to put on the radio. Anyway, so that's Maquette. Not a strong recommend. Go play Fisherman's Tale if you got VR. That's a high recommend for me. Yes, it is also on the Quest. Yeah. It's a simple thing. It's just, you'll have a fun time with it. It's like nice little puzzles and just a lovely presentation and sort of like a humble story. And I think that's, I really, really hate media that wants to do this general relationship story. Nothing bad happens. This is, relationships start and they end and everything. The only game that gets away with it is Florence. Because Florence is like a 30-minute experience. that just has a couple of like cute ideas with it, and they're still like specific characters. Like the guy's a musician, and like you sort of get a general sense. It is a general story, but it's like it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it stays simple in that. But everyone else, it feels like they're just afraid to write actual fucking characters.
See, I had a moment today where I felt really old.
Yeah.
And it was looking through, I think, Star and Disney Plus, and I hit the young adult section.
Oh yes.
no.
And I saw things like Juno and 500 Days of Summer and things like that. And I just realized, these are like, it's kind of simplistic views of relationships aimed at people who are still figuring shit out. And I'm wondering if
It's better than Zack and Miri makes a porno.
I'm wondering if what you're describing is it sort of it fitting into this kind of young adult simplistic depiction of relationships.
Even though
we're old now and we have our pragmatic dry view of relationships.
Yeah, my recommendation for a good relationship film is a good old-fashioned orgy. It's far deeper than you expect. It also did
I
not
like
do well.
the Fisher King.
Yeah, Fisher. I mean, that's not. I mean, it's about a type of relationship, but we're not talking about life relationships. I mean, I'm a fan of Synecdoche, New York. Don't base too much of your life on that film. But I mean, but all those films you were saying that they have. Like, those people still have characters.
Yeah.
They're not just like girl that falls in love with boy, and then they have fight, and fight makes sad.
I think it was just more seeing these things which are about discovering what relationships are.
Yeah.
And realizing, I'm kind of past that part now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, there's just a reason they're young adult in that.
Yeah.
I mean, watched 5 Year Engagement again the other day. It was spoke for that last episode where he has the parkour. There's always a thing for it. Some are better than others. I'll still watch them when Harry Met Sally. It's got some good parts. It's funny. Rob Reiner used to make really good movies.
What's he make now?
I don't know shit.
Is there a comma in there, or is it you don't know shit?
Maybe. I don't need to look up what Rob Reiner does these days. He had that just amazing run of films like Spinal Tap, Princess Bride, Harry Met Sally, fucking what else? A Few Good Men. To North. I know I'm missing some. Misery. Like this guy, like that,
churned them out.
Yeah, churned out classics, and then it's like I don't know.
I'm done.
I'll just be. I think he was Tina Fey's dad on like 30 Rock or something. It's like I'll just do what I want now. It's like fine, no need to try anymore. I'll just have fun. Anyway, let's not talk about Rob Reiner anymore. And that's kind of. I had one more game, but I don't need to talk about that. I can talk about that next time.
On the subject of partners, he's getting late, and there's a baby at home, so probably should.
What's the baby going to do?
Complain?
Gotta help put it down.
No, it's just a baby.
Don't put it down. Surely it's solvable.
You monster. Just really give it a dummy.
He doesn't take the dummy. He doesn't take it.
That's because he is a dummy.
Poor Roger.
He's all right. Anyway, let's call that an end of the show. I have no idea how long we are because I didn't. The
time has disappeared. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for watching or listening to 8.5bit. You can catch us on our website 8.5bit.com, our Twitter and Facebook. Please like and share anything like that. Subscribe to us on whatever the hell you want, and join our Discord at discord.8.5bit.com. I am your host Paul.
I am James.
I'm Sam.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks everyone.